Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the Town of Brookline Select Board Meeting.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. April 16th. Meeting of the Town of Brookline Select Board. Under introductions, we've got a list to read here. People joining, but we'll catch up to them. Mark Bill, Vanessa Blue, Doug Wellman, Bruce Mello, Emily Fears online, Tim Inman, Tom, Tom, right? Tom playing.
John Harris.
John. Sorry. Tom, yeah, okay. Tom's not down here. Dan Towler, Alyssa Schmidt, Laurie Martocci, Maura Founding, Roger Albee, Sam Bourne. Jared's not here.
Yeah, not still yet.
Online, I see the names Matt Martin, Andrea Seaton, Everett Hammond, Buffy Smith, Marjorie Ray, and is there a lady in the top corner whose name I can't read?
Emily Ames.
Emily Ames. Ah, she's the one that's going to want to share something on the.
Okay.
And the letter G.
Michael somebody.
Okay. Now the folks sound like they're going to be joining. Okay.
Dot Maggio just joined.
We should probably.
Okay, we're going to keep moving.
Probably ask if you missed any of those.
Anybody online whose name I did not call? That you can.
Yes.
Yeah, Leanne.
Leanne. Chilson. I'm not sure I got all those small printings up there. Nor do I think I can guess them. That's Tom. I wrote Tom earlier. I called John Tom. So.
It's not working.
Anyway, I don't know those.
I think we got them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Changes to the agenda. I've got one proposed change to the agenda. Under members, we're going to think about it under member of the public. There's something that's come up with construction in the flood zone. And so I'd like to talk about that because I think we have some responsibilities now for people who want to build in the floodplain. Even though we don't have any zoning in town, there is some state required responsibilities. Okay.
You're gonna put that in.
So I'd like to make a motion to add that under after the Act 181, which it might be part of Act 181. I'm not sure. It'll be right after Act 181.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to add that. Any discussion? Hearing none. Can I have a second?
Oh, second.
Bruce seconds. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Emily. Okay.
Emily, good to see you, Emily.
Any other changes to the agenda? Okay. Hearing none. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 1st meeting. They're in your package.
Second.
Doug, second. Do you have anybody have any proposed changes
I don't.
to that? Hearing none, all in favor of the minutes as drafted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Emily said aye, so it's unanimous. Thank you. We'll move to members of the public. Has anyone from Green Mountain come yet? No. Okay, so let's skip that. We'll come back to that.
Something.
Sam, do you want to wait for Jared or do you want to get started?
I mean, as long as he comes while we're still kind of going, unless you want to go back to him, however, or.
I'll give you the choice. Laurie's up next for Act 181, and we could come back to you.
Yeah, we can come back to
Act 181, I think it's of interest to most people too. So why don't we go with you, Laurie, on Act 181?
Well, I printed out a couple of things. I'm going to let you know, by no means am I fully informed or any expert on this. It just, So what I have for you is the State of Vermont Land Use Review Board, Act 181 facts and questions. Yours.
I have one.
Everybody's got
Oh, I'm down here.
And then, there's also a packet of
Oh.
letters that have been written by other select boards throughout the state of Vermont. We didn't print them all out.
Okay.
You have a couple of copies. These are copies from the, you good?
Lori, I'm gonna pull that
Yeah.
up whenever you.
Okay. And if anybody else wants to look at one, it's just, so, you know, I'm really concerned about it.
Really quickly, I just sent a request to
Yeah, I just clicked that and
Oh. Perfect, thank you. I'm just gonna pull up the map for our town.
We're skipping your agenda for a minute.
No, I know. Sam asked me to just pull the map up for Act 181.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I could not find the map or make heads or tails
Okay.
of the map. I have talked with other people, as far as like where tier 3 falls in Brookline. Apparently it's more on this end of town. But, you know, my concern isn't all just tier 3. It is the entire Act 181. There are, what are there, 3 tiers? You know, so I don't know if you all know that we just recently sold our family farm. And we chose to sell it to someone who would keep it as farmland, not develop. We could have sold it to somebody else who would develop it, but that, you know, that was our choice. And I strongly believe that people, especially in the town of Brookline, who've been here for generations and had family property for generations.
Could you just give us the gist, very gist of what Act 81 does that you're concerned about? Maybe you can tell us about yours.
So it's to revamp Act 250 that was implemented, what year, 1970. So it's kind of to update Act 250. So the state is divided to put it into tiers. So tier 1 is to downtown villages, centers, planned growth areas, transition or infill areas that are not eligible for tier 1. So 1A is like if you have Brattleboro that has city septic, city water. That's where they want you to develop. Tier 1B are in projects up to 50 residential units on less than 10 acres of land will be exempt from Act 250. Can include downtown and village centers, planned growth areas and village areas. Tier 3 is the remaining piece of lands which are agriculture, water, headways. They don't want you to put, you can't put a road more than 800 feet in without going through Act 250, the entire Act 250. So what they'd rather have this act want you to do is build along the roadside, not where you want. Right. So just for an example, my dad built a cabin. I believe that road is more than 800 feet up into the woods. That it was in tier 3, which allegedly it is not, right?
I think it's tier 2, but I don't think it was. I think there's still restrictions.
Right. So perhaps, you know, he wouldn't have been able to do that. Now, maybe if you've got, I can't think of an example, Roger, maybe some of your property, if you wanted to let one of your children or grandchildren build, if it falls into tier 3, it definitely is full Act 250 process. So my concern is that that's your property. You've been paying taxes on it. You should have a choice.
So fundamentally, it's the road. I mean, the
Tier 3 is primarily, right?
3 and
Tier 2 is a road. Road, it is, doesn't impact tier 3?
Tier 3 is environmentally sensitive areas.
Okay.
And what are we in Brookline?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, bring it to that map.
But you have different maps on that one, actually. Can you?
But it might be
Yeah,
good to
I'm
get
trying
this-
to zoom. I think that I'm guessing that the way that the layers work here is that the darker area is probably zone 2 and the lighter yellow is zone 3. I zoomed in because that looks like the only area of town, sort of the north area, is the impacted section.
It might be good to give a little bit of context here. So a year ago, the legislature passed Act 181 in related act. The intent was to increase housing accessibility in Vermont. There's a lack of housing, especially for a lot of people these days. So they wanted to increase housing in urban residential areas. In the process of reforming Act 250, which was 1970 with the Kid Commission, they basically said, we're creating a land use board. They created 3 tiers. So tier 1, or urban settings. Tier 2, which was really the old Act 250, but they added the road wood, 800 feet properly road, if you go through Act 250. And the third was environmentally sensitive areas, tier 3. So they've received a lot of pushback, especially from the rural caucus, mainly because people don't understand the map and how it applies to that. So the Speaker of the House, even today, said in the House they're going to repeal Tier 3 and the road. The Senate has already said we're going to extend it to next year. So they'll probably have a conference between the House and Senate on what to do. But the issue is that people don't understand how it applies to them. So they're going to have to probably look back at how do we do it. When they did the Kid Commission, Archie did with the party, it was an Aiken Republican. Back then, they had extensive hearings across the state. So people understood what was taking place. This did not. So people are coming out with a map very confused.
Okay.
So there will be a partial regional assessment, some of the most egregious. And as I understand it, that 800-foot road is going to be probably taken out.
That's right. As well as your too.
That's going to take it as well.
From what I read, I don't think it's gonna be taken out fully, it's gonna be re-looked at next
The
year.
House is taking it out.
Okay,
And the question is, what will the Senate do? The Senate wanted to extend it to next year. So they either have to fit together an office with the agree on the change with them.
And also tier 1, it's like, why do most of us live in Brookline? Because we want rural living, right?
Yeah.
You didn't move to Vermont to live in Brattleboro. You didn't move to Vermont to live in Burlington. You moved to Vermont to live in Burlington, or you grew up to Brookline to stay here because it's a rural environment. So yes, we need to protect that. I agree 100%. But it also, I think, comes to now making people, where they want development is in these urban areas. But why doesn't the next person have just as much right as we do to buy a chunk of land or to pass a chunk of land on to our children in a rural area? So, and if you look at Vermont's infrastructure, Montpelier is already flooding. How can you encourage more building and development in a city that's already flooding? And how can the septic and water systems handle that increase of population? So for me, not only is it tier 3 or tier 2, it is also pushing development only in urban areas. They're part of the reason a lot of businesses around here, they can't find help. People want to drive from Brown to work, that's so far away. So they're looking for affordable housing nearby as well. I'm not saying, I did not want to see our fields developed into low-income housing, but I think there is place and room to build some affordable housing somewhere in rural settings. So to me, it's the entire Act 181 but most specifically the rural.
I suspect, Mike, that the Wyndham Regional Commission will be empowered to try to explain it and help develop it.
And I called Wyndham Regional to ask for help, and they said, this isn't our project, we can't help you. This is the website to go to, but I have since seen that they're going to talk to the town of Jamaica.
And they've got to talk to other towns.
Yeah, and I don't know why this person told me they can't do anything to help, so it may be nice to see if we could get them to come and talk.
So, but in the end, I think the reason you're here is to encourage us to send some communication in support of a repeal of
Yes.
the whole Act 181, or the components that impact tiers 2 and 3,
that really impact this town, yeah.
which is we're 2 and 3. Is that the
Yeah.
bottom line? We're
2 and 3.
Yeah, we're 2 and 3. Okay, so your request is that we consider sending a letter to wherever these letters go to the state or whoever our representatives are in support of repeal of Act 181 as it relates to tiers 2 and 3.
And most people are saying to reconsider the house actually.
Reconsider how it applies. Okay, yeah. When you gave us sample letters
Yes.
to look
Yep.
through, or I assume these.
Whitingham, I think, was one of them. I tried to do, Whitingham was one.
Okay.
Cabot, so some.
Okay, well, thank you. So I have that for discussion later on. This part of the meeting, we'll hear from you, and then later on, we talk. Does anybody else have anything they want to say about Laura's issue on Act 181? Anybody online want to add anything under the public comment related to the Act 181 Laurie Martocci's concern? Okay.
I guess I would just say that it seems like it's most detrimental to young people who live here and want to continue to live here, that if I was to have to buy a piece of land and I want to build a house and I had to file an Act 250 permit, it adds hundreds of thousands of dollars to the cost. And basically average incomes, it's unaffordable to build and live here. And so it kind of just it's not a fair playing field, because someone from out of town can come in and $100,000 in permits is just possibly business.
One of the reasons it's been an issue for many years, going way back, is the fragmentation of our forest in Vermont. They've really been fragmented and pieced out to very small plot. So you don't have the open space that you used to have.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Laurie. So now, I think the Green Mountain folks have joined us online. Is that what you said? Who's here from Green Mountain online?
Tim Jones.
Tim Jones? Okay. So
And
Stan and Tim have joined, but it's Tim from Green Mountain. Anybody else from Green Mountain? Okay.
No, just me tonight.
Okay, thanks, Tim. So I think Tim was at the last meeting and with some other folks too from Green Mountain, and they wanted the select board to sign an agreement to have right here, which would permit, well, approve Green Mountain Power coming in and doing some improvement to the lines and adding, as a result of that, they have to add poles. Sometimes they have to add, my words, Tim, but sorry if I get this, correct me if I get it wrong, but sometimes they're adding a pole where there wasn't a pole before. And sometimes they're adding a new pole next to an old pole, all for the idea of putting stronger lines in town that will be more resistant to trees coming down on them and basically improve our performance in town. We will lose our electricity less because we have a better system in place. That's fundamentally it that I get. But to do that, they have to come in and do work. And so at the last meeting, Emily Beer suggested that we not sign, and we do, but they do need the select board's agreement, I guess, to do this. They also need a bunch of individual easements, agreements, depending on your property. You may have already agreed to an easement, or you may be in that process. And so Emily, suggested that we wait until this meeting to see if anyone has any questions or concerns about that process. And that we would have that discussion, and Tim's here to address any questions or concerns. I'll open it up to the non-select board first, and then I think select board folks have some things to say or questions to ask. Anybody want to speak on that matter? Yes, Tom Klein.
We support the project's goal, which is strong poles and more resilience for the power. My concern is not whether to proceed with it, but how to ensure that there's follow through after the installation. And going back to 2023, on Hill Road between Kirsch and Grassy Brook, where Doug and Laura and I all live, he put up new poles and told us residents that the cable.
Is it? I was about to ask, did the audio cut out for everyone, but it looks like they lost internet, maybe?
So I did contact Charlie.
Hold on, please mute yourself. If you're online, please mute yourself.
Sorry, we lost you for a little while, but I think you're back now.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I did contact Jim's colleague Charlie at GMP, and he said that Comcast and the phone company had been notified. A few months later, I followed up and I asked for the contacts at the phone company at Comcast, and he said he didn't have the contacts. So I wasn't sure how he actually notified me for those companies in the first place if he didn't have the contacts. But the bottom line is, I feel that there's an accountability gap that needs to be addressed before we get into a similar situation for an even larger stretch of the town. We could be stuck with double poles for a very long time. And with each of the companies saying, it's not my responsibility, you know? So I guess what I would like to see are GMP providing the town with specific contacts, actual names, titles, emails, phone numbers at each utility. Not just a general statement that, you know, they've been notified or they will be notified. I'd like to see a documented handoff project process, a defined timeline. And you know, this is just standard project management. It shouldn't be an obstacle. I understand that GMP can't control what the other utilities do, obviously, but that lack of control, I don't think, should get them off the hook for properly coordinating the project and communicating. And yeah, I mean, I would suggest we approve the project contingent on providing contacts and coordination, or alternatively a short delay, you know, to get this information. I also love to think that you know, the other two companies to on the line to talk about when they're going to finish the job on Hill Road before they start a job on Grassy Brook. Well, yeah, most of us want the, you know, the benefits that these new lines likely to provide as far as resiliency, but you know, I think we want to just ensure that this job is fully finished and that the last job is fully finished before we agree to anything. Protect ourselves.
Thank you, Tom. Laurie's agreeing.
I agree.
Anybody else want to comment? Anybody on the select board want to comment? No, you go.
I totally agree with you. 100%. Except I think I want something a little more raw. So an agreement somewhere, some shape that they're gonna be moved out in a reasonable time. I'm not saying you have to do it on June 15th this year, but I want to see a range of time. We will have those poles out by no later than such and such a date. Especially in like, I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, about Hill Road, because I'm aware of it, even though I go by them all the time. But still, we don't want our town littered with a bunch of poles. And I think, that's what I'm saying, is I agree with you, what you have to say, but I'd like to see it a little bit more ironclad in terms of response from at least GMP. GMP's running the project, aren't they? Yes, they are. So I think it's their responsibility, not our responsibility to go, and you've got a good job trying to chase people down. They have greater say or control over the whole project. They should go to Comcast and SharePoint, or Consolidate, excuse me, and get an agreement with us. Say, okay, we've talked to them and they're willing to sign off on this date, September 1st, or actually whatever it is. So I agree with everything you had to say, except I'd like to see it a little bit more ironclad. That's where I'm at.
Anybody other than Tim online that would like to comment? Then we'll let Tim respond. Anybody else in the room? Comment? Okay. Tim, could you respond to these comments and or any other comments you'd like to make about the project?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you very much. And thank you also to Mark Bills for making the time today to ride through the project. I think that was one of the other things that we agreed to do following our April 1 appointment, was to go out and make sure that we had good center line separation and good edge of pavement separation. And there were probably a half a dozen locations where we are going to move the pole behind or accommodate what Mark had asked, to make sure that, we get that sort of 5 to 7 feet of clearance off the edge of the pavement. So I think all the poles we looked at today, certainly not an issue to do that. So thank you again, Mark. In terms of the comms, and I did ride up Hill Road today, all the way. I went around the horseshoe, and I noticed probably maybe a half a dozen poles, between Grassy Brook, Hill Road intersection, and up to Kirsch and around the corner a little bit. Not all of those are vacated by us. I know there's one or two where we still have a wire on top. A few of those poles are pole guys, but there are certainly a handful of poles that still have telecommunications on them. I'm sorry that that's the response that you got from Charlie Daniel. That's not an appropriate response to give. We certainly have plenty of contacts, and I think just on a smaller scale, Michael, as a customer along the road, I think we just did that very thing. We're obviously a little bit more successful at smaller projects, leaning in to get them to come out and triage individual cases. By and large, it's typically 3 to 5 years before the telecommunications companies do their moves. We're not locked together in terms of our abilities to go out and do capital. So our 2-year program here, really, we've let all the communication companies know where we're going, where we've been, and what we're planning on doing this year. Also, once we finish a project, we do have a notification system that we use to put them on notice that we've transferred. We do have also an abandonment process that we really haven't flexed either, where really that would, in my opinion, not really, mitigate the situation if we just said, okay, we're off all these poles, now they're yours. Then they're theirs, and they, are still sort of in that, same situation. So what I can promise is to give the operational contacts that we use for Consolidated and Comcast, and say these are the field operations people that we work with, or that we call, or some nature of that. But Green Mountain Power cannot guarantee an outcome for the telecommunications, process, other than to say it's probably going to be 3 to 5 years at that scale to come out and do all of Grassy Brook. So that's really all I can, comment on there. And I understand the consternation around it. We hear it everywhere we go. I wish there was a silver bullet at which we could say, but I also think that possibly hearing from select boards is another body that we work with as a partner. They're also partners of yours. And so once we give those contacts up, I would say, the town can make its own inroads as well, and document whatever case they feel they have that says, this project was done by GMP, this long ago, and this much time has elapsed, and X, Y, Z. So, they're our partner as well. we're the lead dog in the pack here, and unfortunately, the lag time it takes them to follow up is not what most people would consider timely. So that's really what I have to offer is our best to let them know where we're going, provide the town with similar contacts, talk about what our schedule is going to be, and continue working with our partners to get them moved off of our old pole lines.
And how many double poles will there be in Brookline? Rough numbers. How many situations where you're gonna have a pole next to a pole for those 3 to 5 years?
Pretty much, every pole, pretty much, every pole between, the north entrance of Hill Road up to Whitney Hill, it's a long project. So there's, 40 plus work locations. So all the poles that get replaced, some poles are coming out, but we are also mid-spanning, some areas where we need to shorten up the distance between existing poles right now. So it'll be substantial. I can't deny that.
Anybody have any reactions?
Question.
Yes.
Like earlier, you were saying that you had a communication with Comcast and Consolidated that would seem to suggest that they're able to move much faster than Jim is telling us.
So they asked me for an easement because they're gonna add a pole to my property. And I said that I would not approve the easement with no commitment date as to when the second poles will come down. And Green Mountain Power is not giving me any commitment, but I did get an email from a person at Consolidated and a person at okay, so sorry. And then they string them up. So they basically, nobody said for sure, but they said we would try to do it. Each one said they'd try to do it in 3 months. So that would be 6 months. One of the guys did say, I forget, it was, he said a year. I said, oh, that's crazy. He said, well, to get them all out. So one of the organizations said a year to get them all out. Implied.
And Gracie Brook?
See, there's so much going on. When you ask somebody a question about something, they might be answering the question about something a little different than you're asking. So I don't know the answer to that. Okay. It was just my personal calls about my easement. Sure. And, and I've gotten some concessions that might be 6 months, no commitments, but at least I got a name and a phone number. If they don't do it, I can call them and say, hey, remember that discussion? Kind of thing. But to commit to the town might be a different hurdle.
No, and that's why I preface my remarks by saying, individual cases are a little bit of a different animal. So I'm not suggesting that, one goes faster than the other, but at scale, what we're talking about here is not just a simple phone call and it'll be done in a matter of months' time. I think typically, if customers, as this example, are burdened with double pole lines on their property, that type of stuff, we really work hard, a lot of times because we're getting easements from customers and so forth. So, we'd like to try and prioritize those types of things. But by the time, September rolls around, we'll have buried, over 100 miles and rebuilt over 100 miles of line in 2 years. So it's our program, it's GMP's program. And we're substantially out ahead of our joint utility partners. So again, I think the 3 to 5 year window is really, my best guess based on experience. And I don't know that I could promise any better. We're obligated, to license our poles to these folks. So it's not a discretionary whether or not we have them on our pole lines or not. That's just sort of the nature of being the pole owner.
Yeah, right, so we'll discuss it later. If anybody else have anything to add to the discussion? If, I mean, really what it kind of seems like it's coming down to is, and I don't understand this fully, but my understanding, I think, is if we don't sign this thing, they can't do the Grassy Brook Road thing. And so we don't get the improved performance. So it's like, so saying no is cutting off your nose and it's like your face a little bit. So hopefully we want to say yes, but we want everything, right? We want the service and we want the poles down. But we may be making a choice here. And I don't know. This is not the representative of the town, but since you're here, would you lean more towards you want the service, or would you hold the line and because you don't want to look at the polls? We've had some good years where we haven't lost power. We had some years where we lost our power a lot.
Right.
And this would, help reduce that. That's why you're doing it. He's doing it for us, right? But we gotta look at the polls.
Save that money too.
Huh?
It's to save that money too.
Gotta save
That's a lot of money, Mike.
Yeah. Anybody online have a comment?
I do. To Tim's point, if the select board is a partner of Consolidated and Comcast, and they seem like perhaps the stakeholders who are less engaged and less quick moving than GMP, is it possible, it sounds like from what Tim was saying that hearing from a select board might have a little bit more weight behind it than just hearing from random homeowners on Grassy Brook Road who might be impacted. So is that something that the select board might consider doing? Like reaching out to them as a select board to Consolidated to Comcast rather than each of us doing it one-twosies to sort of say, hey, yes, to your point, we want to do this. We want to reduce power outages in town and have this upgrade, but to do so, we'd really like it if we could have, I don't know, a project plan, a timeline, that sort of thing.
Are you saying?
Yeah, maybe this is I always like to say yes or not put things in abeyance, but again, I hear the town loud and clear. Like I said, we've heard this from other towns, and if the town's prevailing wisdom is to take a run at the comms and we come back at a later date, really, again, I don't want to pressurize the situation. If the town's not ready and you want to weigh some options, I can give you some contacts, and you want to have those types of phone calls just to see what kind of play you get. Maybe it's a good bookend of the conversation.
So Emily, just so I understand what you're proposing essentially not signing this agreement yet, but having a select board.
Not necessarily proposing not signing the agreement, just maybe having a little bit more engagement with the other companies that are on those polls, which is what we feel like is the long tail in removing their lines from the existing polls, which would be what would keep, the double poles on people's property or along the road.
I didn't hear the whole thing. My question was, sign this and then try to have an initiative with Comcast and Consolidated, or don't sign it yet and see if we can push them a little bit.
Good question. Recognizing that it's a lot of bureaucracy, it's probably, my personal opinion would be better to sign and then try to push, but I don't know if that reduces your leverage. But yeah, recognizing that it might take a long time if you don't sign and then you miss a deadline. Do we have to start the whole thing over?
Deadline?
Well, no. This is signing with Green Mountain, right?
But is there a deadline by which we need to sign, or it's not going to happen?
That was going to be my question, Tim. I know, I think you said that the Zero Outage Initiative ends this September. So if we don't do this project now, is it not going to happen?
No, it's not. It's not lost. And I think, just context wise, again, we're going to do as much as we can in this time, period. And, there's another evolution, as we saw when I was driving around with Mark today, right? We're still designing the other end of Grassy Brook going the other way. We're designing. So we're always designing, putting cordwood up, I guess is sort of the analogy I use to get projects fully designed and shovel ready. That way, when they come back around again. So, this project can come back around again. Maybe it's, at a different scale that time, when we come back with it and it's, we add, and we do it in its entirety. So, again, it's, I don't think you're forfeiting anything by continuing to have this conversation, even if we're still talking about this and maybe it takes another month. We have a big lineup where we have 36 other projects that we're doing. We're already working, so I don't want to give you a false pressure that this is it.
I'm wondering, Tim, you mentioned getting the select board, the contacts at Comcast and
Absolutely.
Consolidated?
Yep, I can do that.
I don't see, go ahead, any more you want to get?
Before we let Tim drop off, I wanted to just ask Mark if, you met with him and everything you needed to be done was agreed upon.
Yes, yeah, we went pole to pole, had conversation at each site. And for maintenance reasons, he was accommodating everything I asked for. So, as far as where those new poles will be placed, as the road foreman, I was in agreement with their approach, yeah. And the other thing to remember, as much as we all want to see the other poles gone, I guess they can't, if we don't put the new poles in, they have nothing to switch over to.
Mhm.
So that's something to keep in mind. If,
That's a thought.
however long it does take, they'll need the new poles in place
Sure.
to switch over.
Okay.
But I don't see where, if we got the contact information, with Consolidated and Comcast, why we couldn't come up with a reasonable answer in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe reschedule us for one of the two meetings in May and push it through. After we've contacted the other two companies.
Yeah, I'm not feeling optimistic, based on the context I had. But I'm not opposed to any of those efforts, but,
I just don't see where 2 weeks is gonna make a hell of a lot of difference.
yeah, 2 weeks will make a difference. Yes,
Or 3 weeks.
I'm not disagreeing with anything I'm hearing. I don't think we want to get to the point of denying the people of Brookline better electricity, pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because we've had some pretty good performance in the last couple of years, but most probably because the weather has worked with them. If you start getting those lacy wires and trees coming down, people are gonna lose electricity and say, thanks a lot. So you kind of pick your poison. Okay.
So if we could, get contact information for Comcast and Consolidated as a select board.
Mhm.
Contact to see if their representatives would come to our select board meeting to answer
Sure.
these questions, how long it's the process will take.
Well, that's always supposed to come back
Sure.
and hang up on. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else to talk about on this? We're gonna make a decision later on. Is that?
This is Andrea Seaton. Mike, can I am really in favor of letting Green Mountain Power move ahead as soon as they possibly can. It's already been 2 weeks and now I agree with waiting another 2 weeks, but waiting beyond that, we're losing the opportunity to improve our infrastructure in Brookline. And I don't like the idea of 2 poles any more than anybody else does, but 2 poles is better than an unimproved infrastructure from Green Mountain Power. And I understand Tim's point that they have, 36 other projects that they can do. And I know when I lived in Dover, we stalled on a project and then it never ended up getting done because Green Mountain Power moved on to other things. And that was underground power lines at the time. But I'm all in favor of moving forward as quickly as possible. But I'm saying that because all the poles are on your property across the street and not on mine.
Look at them just like I do.
Yeah,
but thank
exactly.
you. Yeah, and you have a generator too, so
Yeah.
so okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, we lost everybody again.
No, we still have them. We lost the TV.
Lost the TV. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on. Then now we're gonna go into the PowerPoint presentation. Then we can't.
All right, so I guess I'll just follow up with you, Michael, and
Yes,
with some
please.
contacts, and we'll look at the calendar of next meetings.
Yeah, I'd ask you to join us the next meeting if you could. By Zoom is fine,
Okay.
just like you're doing. It's great.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you, everybody. Oh,
Thanks,
looks
Tim.
like you have a hand waving there.
We'll get better internet. Yeah, but still fine.
Mike, is there someone in the room that I
Um,
could email this to? That they could do a screen
Yes.
share?
Doug, do you want to give him give Emily or say your email address?
Or
whatever email address it would bring up. She wants to send you
Oh.
Sam's PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, if we're not on the
yeah,
screen
send
anymore.
it to. Yeah, you are back now.
Oh, okay, cool.
If you want to send it to me, yeah, let's try it here first.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So this next topic,
I
in
think
case
Stan
anybody
has a
doesn't
hand.
know,
Stan has a hand up. I don't. That was before we move on, or
Stan's got his hand up.
oh, Stan, go ahead. Do you have something to say?
I'm sorry I logged on late. Have you already been through 4B? If not, I have a couple of things I could bring up.
No, we haven't. No, we've added an item under 4A for construction in the floodplain. Which is, I think, the issue that you and I talked about. We haven't gotten there yet. We've been jumping around a little bit depending on who's in the room.
Okay, I didn't see that down below, but I'll hang on. Sure, no problem.
Well, okay. Okay, so we're back to number 2 under there. Kirsch Road. Just by way of quick background, we had a meeting, whatever it was, last summer, and the feeling of the town, folks in the room anyway, was that we should go the repair. I'll call it the repair option. There's a lot of folks in the room. Repair option versus replace option of the Hills First Road Stone Arch Bridge. And so we made the decision here to do that. Recent month, maybe 2 months ago, we sent out RFPs and received 2 bids for that. Sam Bourne is here. He is the low bidder, but also a quality bidder. And so he is the lead candidate right now to receive the award for that work. But we asked him and Jared, his stone expert, to come and tell us about themselves and about their approach to the project, understanding that this is a sensitive project. It's not just any other old culvert repair replacement. So he's here to talk about that. One thing that's become, kind of got cemented in my mind is that this thing has basically 3 components. The original historical component, which to my understanding, unless we find out differently, is not in need of repair. But then there was a stone component added onto it that is in need of repair. And then there's some cement components to it that are also in need of repair. And there's also some stuff that calls mitigation. Even just repairing it, we're going to make some improvements to those areas that we're repairing to help with some of the underlying structure issues. So Sam is here to talk to us about that, and we thought that, and we send out the word for folks to come and listen. Sam, I'll turn it over to you. Anybody else on the select, sorry, have anything to say before? Yeah, I'll turn it over to you, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, so I'll just introduce myself. I started my business in 2014 and we've done a wide range of projects and of late in the last 5 years, a lot of I would say like unscripted construction projects, so unique projects. In 2022, we took basically like a artist rendering of a stone project, and it's like similar to Stonehenge overseas, and we recreated that. A lot of encountered a lot of complexities with something like that. That would be similar to embarking on this stone bridge project. And there's a few photos of that on the screen. A couple years ago, we also built a private lookout tower on top of the mountain for a guy. Again, kind of unscripted work, a lot of careful planning, a lot of different components to deal with, and everything went well. So this haven't done a stone arch bridge before, but that's why I talked to Jared about working on it. But again, there's a number of components to this project that relate to work that we've done in the place. So, so I'll let Jared talk about his past work and some artwork, and then we can kind of get into the overview of the project.
Sure. Introduce myself. My name is Jared Flynn. I'm a dry stone wall master craftsman. I do the Dry Stone Walling Association of Great Britain, which is known as the world standard for dry stone wall construction. I facilitate certifications for dry stone wall constructions at the Scott Farm in Cumberston for the last 20 years, educating professional dry stone wall builders here in North America. I'm a glorified waller construction builder that has done several arch constructions in the last several years. Happy to say things.
There's a few photos on the screen of some artwork that Jared's done. Cool.
Is there something local that folks may have driven by that you might have worked on?
Not if it's over construction work. Usually it's under the roadbed, so you can't really see a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's the Moon Bridge at Green Mountain Orchards, which is a large arch construction. More of an artistic build. I've done a bunch of work with Mike Renault, mostly large scale construction. I'm in the middle of a large large arch bridge down in Guilford currently that I'm working on.
What's the dimensions of that? Just so we get a sense of.
Oh, that one's 15 wide and the span is 20 feet.
This is building from scratch?
Yeah, which is much easier than rebuilding. Yeah.
You also did the West Townsend back Wyndham Road Stone Arch.
Yep, the Jamesville Fall. I did all last 2 summers ago. I spent all summer at the West Townsend Arch Bridge construction, where I was the lead mason there, under the guidance of Brian Coast, who won the contract for that big. Just it's construction work.
Questions from anybody?
Anything unique about the South Creek?
The uniqueness is it's kind of like an Oreo where we're like going in and taking the cream out. We're leaving both ends, both chocolate parts, if you will, of the cookie intact, but we're going in and taking the middle out. And so that's the complexity of it. Getting the false work in is really complex, because normally, false work that supports, all the archwork, usually goes in first. So here, the stonework is already in, so it's getting the false work in secondary, which is it's gonna be a task for sure.
You
Find
mentioned
the false work. False work is the temporary woodwork that goes in underneath the arch, to support, the new arch that goes over it, you know, it's a temporary support.
Yeah, so we also have to, support the old part of the culvert, which is in good condition. We've got to support that as well. So it's kind of like building a barrel in there, but you've got to support each stone and keep pressure on that. And as soon as any weight is off, the weight on top of the arch is what gives it strength. So it needs to be supported when the weight is taken off of it.
Tom, there's some pictures up here of support.
Oh, here.
If in your Oreo scenario, I was thinking, okay, the historical part is one side of the Oreo, I guess one end. And then there's you mentioned the cream, you gotta fix the cream, and then there's an other end that's staying. What's the other end that's staying, the non-historical part that's staying, and why is it staying?
It's the operator's box already.
So the box culvert is still good. Okay, and it's the middle part that's the worst.
Yeah, so there's, and like if you go back to a few of those pictures of so the section in the middle, it looks like it's, there's a fair amount of concrete that holds it in. There's also some of the base stones that dislodge, and so it's compromised. So that's the section that needs to be taken out and completely rebuilt.
So you have to bring in new stone?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So really, you have the original bridge, which is like 12 feet, which is in pretty good construction still. And then you've got this add-on of 8 or 10 feet that was poorly built. And then you've got another add-on of concrete that is fine, yeah. But it's really just that center section that somebody widened the road, added a section of arch that was.
Well, you still have that keystone there.
Yeah, it's not as much as a keystone as it is just pressure, right? Yeah, you don't really need a keystone, it's just mass.
Yeah, so in that middle section that we see here right now, a lot of those, just large stones are coming out probably, and it'll be built similar to the other original section, or
yeah,
you're gonna use what you can that's there.
Mostly what's there will just be used as backfill.
Okay.
The major concern is on the left side of this going upstream. The foundation stones are all dislodged and twisted, and all it takes is a tree branch coming down through there, getting caught, and dislodging a stone, and then you're going to have a collapse.
We're gonna find a stone to rebuild it with.
Where will I? That's a good question. We're still sourcing that. Yeah.
That was dislodged, I'm sure, during Irene, because that flooded really bad.
I'm sure.
I live right there, so we were worrying about the bridge when the water started coming up out of spots in the bridge.
Well,
did it ever go up and over the road?
Yeah, a few times.
yeah. We're pretty strong.
Yeah, but there's one spot, there was a hole right on the edge. And the water was just coming out of that yeah, exactly. And we were like, oh man.
So how are you gonna replace the guardrails you talked about?
Yeah, so that's another component of it, is it looks like at one time the guardrails were kind of living into part of the, bridge structure. So when we uncover, we're gonna, Lafayette Guardrail is, be the subcontractor, but we're gonna actually, put sleeves in for them to put their posts in. So there won't, there's gonna be no guardrails driven into this, into the stone structure. Once it's done, there'll be sleeves in place. And that's what, Lafayette recommended.
Sam, timeline, worst case scenario, you start tomorrow, how long do you think it take to do the project?
We're planning to start in July and we'll have it wrapped up by the time, by September 15th.
So the road was closed, we're not trying.
Yes, road closed.
So we were told that it would be done before school started because of bus transportation. Because it will affect all the kids on Hill Road. The bus having to come from, the bus comes from Whitney Hill Way, goes up to us where we have a kid still that's on school. So it would have to turn around and go all the way back around to come around to get the kids on the other side. So we were under the impression it would be done before then.
And where would the bus turn around?
It couldn't turn around in front of my house.
Oh, I mean, we can talk about it more, but there's it's kind of a, complex build. You can only get in the stream and start the work by June 15th at the by June 1st at the earliest because of the stream laws. And that's, July is kind of schedules allow. And if there's, if the project goes smoothly, then, the road should be open. But I can't commit to any sort of, I'm not going to commit to an unrealistic timeline.
When does school typically start?
The last week in August.
Okay, so
it's not that it's gonna be the duration of the school year.
If you hit your timeline, would the road be open by September 15th?
That's the, yeah.
If you hit your plan?
Some of this is investigative work, so, we uncover it and find an issue, then, that could change, but that's the goal.
You have a certain time you have to use the money for it.
So the award right now is not guaranteed, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but it's promised till I believe September 30. We have to spend the money. If we needed to, we could ask for another extension. And if they like the reasons why we're asking for it, it probably would be granted. They really are discouraging us, and for Maura's issue, right? You don't want to extend the project anyway, right? You want to get it done.
Is the money held by the state?
I can't tell you exactly where that money sits right now. There's another project we've got going on that they've already paid us. It's sitting in our bank account. That's the best scenario, right? But I'm working with the state and FEMA together. And we haven't worked out exactly the cash flow timeline yet. All I know is if the award expires right now, either September 15th or September 30th, I cannot remember right now. I have to double check. We could get an extension for allowable reasons, right? They get in there, something bad happens, or there are legitimate reasons other than our own slowness where they'll give us an extension. That doesn't help more. Right? That's not a good thing.
Yeah, because
The RFP did say September 15th.
Say it again?
The RFP that the town put out for the project said it needs to be complete by September 15th.
Yeah, but I may have given us 15 days of leeway. I can't remember exactly. So anyway, so the moment I'm not worried too much about that is because we don't want an extension, right? We want the project done. So at the moment, you'd be talking about 2.5, 3 weeks of that.
And we don't want the project to take any longer than it should as well.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, 5-6 days a week we'll be there working. Do our best. The school bus situation is in the back of my mind. But again, we don't want You know, by the first week of school that we're wrapped up and done, if there's still, if there's still work that must be done.
Yeah, because I had a conversation with Todd Lawley, and what he would have to do is have my daughter go down to the end of Hill Road, and all the other kids do that too. But a lot of us either don't drive or don't have, the parents are already at work by then. So because there's people right on the other side of the bridge that their kid rides the bus too. So. And that's the people on the other side of the bridge is where my kid would normally, if she missed the bus, get a ride to school if her kid missed the bus too. So
That bridge should be walked. No, even during lunch. Yeah.
It's gonna be an active construction site, so.
She's still
So what sort of mitigation do you have to do during the construction?
So there's, so in addition to the stone arch, the center stone arch being rebuilt, there's also 4 dry laid stone wing walls. So 2 upstream, 2 downstream. Those will be on the upstream will butt up to the, cement section of the culvert. And then downstream, they'll be tied into the, end of the existing arch.
So you have a dry place to work. That's it.
What's that?
So you have a dry place to work.
Yeah.
Depending on the weather.
Yeah. And then in addition, we're gonna, the arch structure of the bridge will get a layer of fabric over it, and that will mitigate fines from kind of infiltrating into the stonework. You want dry stone on stone, so we're gonna fabric the bridge arch as well.
More, how many children are we talking about and what are their ages?
my daughter is 15. There's another 15-year-old. I think that he's 11. And well, it would be all the kids on Hill Road, and I don't know them all because even if the bus came towards us the other way, they have nowhere to turn around. So it would be all the kids on Hill Road.
I mean, maybe down to Elmore Road. Cause
it can't turn around there. I talked to Todd Lawley, he said there's nowhere on Hill Road that he could turn around except it would be in front of my house, which we won't be able to do because he wouldn't be able to do the loop. Because of where you're putting the culvert in.
We could make provisions for him to,
But that's for one kid.
That's for only for
one kid. He wouldn't do that for one kid. Like all the other kids would have to meet down in front of your house. And it's not feasible for some of them. Like their parents go to work way before they go to school. And they're grade schoolers, so.
Somebody,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
I'd say about 10, 15 kids.
10 plus?
It's funny because my daughter's it seems like one of the last to get off on the bus, but there is a bunch that get on after her. I don't exactly know how many, but
I haven't personally talked to Todd Lawley about this either, so I can, I can do that as well.
I just had a conversation with him. I'm good friends with him, so I was just asking, like.
I'm just wondering if I'm just making this up, but I don't know if they have any kind of bands that could turn around down there, and have a couple of weeks, have a special route.
They only have the school buses that he can use. They had the smaller one, but they don't.
Right, but I mean, somewhere on the planet there's vans,
I just
they got the box.
The school district owns 6 cars as well.
They won't use it for that. It's for kids that are shipped to other school, brought to others.
They use them for field trips and etc. So
is
I think we're talking about 2 weeks of school, so it's
That's it, yeah, if everything goes.
hopefully some teacher assistant things in there.
Yes. Snow days.
He's down off Hill Road, trying to keep it from being dry down there. Every time it rains, it just floods right in front of our house.
Keeping grass don't work in rain.
And I'm just, every time, You get it yesterday, it flooded out in front of our house. The water coming down the hill, it floods right out there.
I'm sorry, so you're saying, is that?
I'm saying if we get rain, you guys are gonna have
Oh.
issues with the dry stuff part.
So there's so the engineer designed a bypass pipe that's getting put in, so this, during the construction. There's I believe 42-inch bypass pipe, so that stream that is running through the Art Culvert. Is gonna be diverting.
But I'm saying, every time it rains, downhill road, it pours down the bridge, you know, across the bridge. So are you gonna be diverting that water
Yep.
too? Okay.
Yep.
And just because I watched it yesterday, I was just curious, and when it was raining, I was watching the way the water flowed out there.
Yeah. Good, yeah.
Okay,
I think, well, go ahead, Tom.
Just a comment, Jared, I've followed your work for a couple decades now, and I personally think that we're really lucky to have, been lucky that Sam was him. He's well known across the state and across New England for doing what he does, and he's a magician. I feel like that bridge is in really good hands with him if this ends up happening. So
They don't make these anymore, do they?
no.
I don't know if the select board's had the opportunity to look at your website, but I did. And if you could make that arch bridge look anywhere near what you did in those other projects, I'll be stunned. So I guess I was surprised, but your work is absolutely gorgeous. And it's, if we could do that to our arch bridge, I'm sure there's not a person in this building who wouldn't be happy with it.
Yeah, if anybody goes to the Scott Farm Orchard,
Take a look at
some of its work.
It is great work.
so are we,
Big one, look like Green Mountain Orchard too.
my understanding is there's 4 properties that abut this site somehow? Or potentially 4 easements that we might request?
3,
Just 3, okay, and is Mora's property one?
yes.
Yes,
Morris is a,
it's the one that gets affected the most, I feel.
So are you, I don't want to put you on the spot with it, you don't have to answer this right now if you don't want, but if, given everything you've heard in the couple of weeks of thing with the bus that we haven't figured out yet, do you think you're in a position to support the project with the easement? Or?
I think we're still on the fence about a few things that I just wanted to be put into the easement maybe to rectify our brain, because some of the wording in it is really confusing.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer. Looking at it, it's like one spot it says that it's temporary, and then another spot it says it's forever. So, which is it?
My initial reaction, I haven't seen it. A lawyer probably used some sort of form and didn't eliminate the permanent word. So yes, I think we can, I'm guessing the lawyer can work out the language that.
And then there's another spot that says all the trees along 86 feet of trees up the brook. And we were just wondering why you had to remove so many trees up the brook.
as far as my knowledge, I don't believe there'll be any tree removal.
The easement piece says the right to remove.
Ours says 86 feet of trees is gonna be removed.
It says they have the right to remove all tree, right, behind us.
In talking with the, Everett Hammond, the guy who's engineered the project, just need a location to revert the brook from its original passage through the old stone arch, come around it, and I've kind of picked out a site that is a straight shot with cutting no trees.
So the big one there on the corner of the bridge?
Those, I've been talking with Tim, I believe it's part of his property boundaries, and by rights, you're not supposed to cut down.
That's what I was gonna bring up, because it's the property boundary for both of us. I actually put in notes.
Yeah,
So
so
it shows where our property boundary is in our deed, yes, is that tree.
Yeah.
Oh, does your deed say that as well?
Yeah.
And I've been.
So we don't, it's on that tree.
Yeah, so it's important not to disturb that.
That big huge tree there.
And I believe it's far enough away so that they can work up to it without getting into the root system. I think too, it's an important part of vegetation that's help holding the structure in place as well as the concrete. They talked about, the engineer spoke of 8 foot roughly wing walls. And so if you look at it, 8 feet doesn't get to the tree, so. You know, and there is barbed wire in the south trees, on the outlet side. One of Tim's deeds, I believe, it's made up of a butternut tree to an apple tree, so here you can already have a specific.
There's butternut trees that go on board.
Yeah,
That,
so I know anytime you're working along the property line, you're not supposed to cut family trees, so. I think for that reason, we should try to avoid disturbing as many as possible. I think looking at the job, it looks like a pretty square shot that will make the water go around.
Everything I saw was small brush, and I think by the FEMA guidelines, any trees that had to be cut had to have been cut by now, right?
Yeah.
Because they're bats.
Right.
Oh. So between the three of you, you don't plan on taking any trees in this project?
No, any brush, yeah.
How do we go about getting the wording in this easement being changed?
Mark is, you're on point with the lawyer.
Yes, and the town has used Bob Fisher, law office out of New Bradbro and Dover. And I believe we can make contact with him to word that so that no trees get removed.
As well as the other, there's some others.
Yes, yeah, whatever you guys feel you want to have in there, we'll work with you.
yeah, I think she did mostly form stuff and didn't fix stuff because.
Yeah, it came real quickly, so I have a feeling there's a.
Okay, thank you. So Leanne online?
Yeah, I just wanted to circle back to when we were talking about the bus situation and Sam mentioned reaching out to Todd Lawley. That's a great idea, but also I would reach out to Greg Frost at Wyndham Central. He's the transportation coordinator for the district.
Read that name again?
Greg Frost.
Greg Frost. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Leanne.
I still wanted another question about the project. So as well as fixing the middle of the stone arch, we're rebuilding both ends, the inlet side and the outlet side, and I just wanted to kind of clarify, when you redo the end walls, they were pretty much straight across with just some big rocks stabilizing the embankments. Are we gonna do kind of like a 45 or wrap around into something?
Yeah, that's the plan, is to kind of tie those, is to angle back and tie them into the bank.
Yeah, I like that. I think,
So you're saying so the water can't unravel it on the low side or
right.
on the high side.
Yeah, because you get the swirling action can undermine, but if there was some.
And the plan is to we're planning to bring in a fair amount of stone, so use a larger size class stone down near the brook bed. And then tie it in as the wall goes up with some smaller stones just to maintain the aesthetic of the bridge.
Right.
So where will you be storing all this stuff while you're doing it?
Would be in the road, our road construction area.
In front of my house, any of it in front of my house?
Probably be in the town right away. Which means 25 feet from the middle of the road in each direction. We probably have to keep the path open for Kirsch Road traffic.
Emergency vehicles, yeah.
Yeah, Kirsch Road will be open. I believe the engineer has that drawn in the road closure plan. Yeah. So
My husband's just worried he leaves at weird hours. He doesn't want to be locked in the yard when he needs to get to work.
Yeah, I don't
know.
know.
Same with the bridge construction itself.
So on the inlet side, the water coming to the structure, we're also gonna restructure the wing wall. And as part of the repair plan, there was talk of if there needs to be a little more concrete under the bottom edge, a little digging with some concrete added, and also some mitigation behind the new structured wall. Brian Post there, when he did an assessment, he talked about some membranes maybe behind the stone wall to deflect water from during high water events, not allowing the water to move them.
Sure.
Or maybe concrete, filled in the paint, the armor, deflect water.
Yeah, Everett mentioned like a road fabric behind there to not completely seal it off, but keep the majority of the water out. And then some of the bridge is sitting right on ledge. I did talk to Scott Jensen about pouring up like an anti-scour beam at the base. That can't, if there's ledge there, there's no sense in pouring anything, but in the areas where there isn't, as long as that beam doesn't rise into the brook bed itself, narrowing the channel, then he said we can pour along that edge to deal with where the cement portion is undermined some, and then if we need to stabilize the other side of the bridge with some concrete, that we could as well.
Okay. That sounds good. Anybody else have any questions that anybody answered that? Okay.
Good. Everybody online good? Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to the rest of our agenda. Everyone welcome set. Added, we're gonna move on to the rest of the agenda. We added an item at the beginning of the meeting and that I titled construction in the floodplain. And thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
It's my understanding, the town clerk was contacted by someone who lives at 80 Grassy Brook Road, who wants to do some construction, and they're in the floodplain, and my understanding now that we have some obligation to review, even though we don't have town zoning, we have an obligation to review the construction and somehow opine on it, one way or the other, because it's in the floodplain. And Stan has been doing some research and communication started off between Marjorie and Stan, and I was on the sidelines. And so Stan's done a little work on it. And Stan, do you want to give us a brief overview of the specific situation and what you think our obligations might be at summary level?
Unmute yourself.
You're on.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Uh,
Because it's in a floodplain, it needs to go to a two-stage review. Once by the town, and then after the town makes a decision, that is sent to, I think, A&R and DEC, Division of Environmental Conservation, and they review everything and they either agree or disagree with allow or not allow the work to be done. As I understand it, the specifics are in our floodplain bylaw, which was initiated back in 2005. Technically, it should be done by a floodplain administrator. So, and it's the planning commission who supposedly recommends to the select board who they feel the floodplain administrator should be. It's the floodplain administrator that then submits the package after the research done with the homeowner to the select board for the review. That's the overall process. Because it's in a floodplain, it's most likely that they'll be looking at what his current well is, what his current septic system is, what the number of people are, what the number of living units are that'll be using that septic system, and then probably an engineer study to ascertain whether or not the floors of the current structure, house and or garage, are at least 1 foot above the baseline flood level. And so it could be expensive for the homeowner above and beyond the construction phase and complicated. So since we don't have a floodplain administrator, I guess there's a couple questions to be asked. Does the select board want someone, to include possibly itself, to just let this gentleman know there are things that need to be worked out? Did the select board want someone perhaps like myself who's a little more familiar with the pluses and minuses and the requirements of the program, just as a concerned citizen, not a select board person, not a flood administrator, who is familiar with some of the things, and let the person know what they are and determine whether or not he's still interested in moving forward, which then might be an impetus for the select board to proceed with determining who may be a floodplain administrator. So that's basically a summary. Technically, we should have a floodplain administrator already. The DEC people visited the town of Brookline in 2024. We had a discussion about it. They recommended that we look into getting one. At the time, I called Newfane, Jamaica, Athens, Westminster, Putney, and Dummerston and spoke with their floodplain people. Nobody was interested in being a part-time flood administrator for a second town. So that option appears at this point to be out of the question. And if we decide, no, we don't want to do it, we want to get out of the floodplain program, you're going to lose the additional monies when there is a FEMA flood. We would then not be looking at basically 92.5% covered by FEMA. We'd be looking at only 75% should we seek funding for any kind of repair. So we'd lose that extra funding. So that's the parameters you're going to be looking at down the line. Some of the things you might want to think about. I know that's a lot in a short time. I'm sorry. But I don't know what to do. Marjorie asked me to interface with the fellow, but I thought before I did that, I would want to let you know that there is this question. You may want someone, if it is me, to be guarded about how I present myself and my representation, etc. I just don't want to create a problem or get us in a bind where we may have a problem. But I have no problem sharing what I, as another citizen, have learned as a part of my various roles for the town. So that is the issue. I do have two more briefly, when you're ready.
What's the word?
How long, those other issues, are they equally time sensitive? We haven't started our agenda yet.
They shouldn't be. They should be, and I'm going to present them in a way that you don't need to take a vote because it's obviously not on the agenda. But maybe a minute and a half each.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Earlier this week on Monday, an email addressed to you, Michael, and myself was sent to us by Alyssa Sabeto. She's the hazard mitigation person from Wyndham Regional Commission. She gave us until Friday to update the hazard mitigation list that you and I had initiated and talked with her back in 2023. It was terminated in the fall of 2024 because funding from FEMA was discontinued or put on hold. So if you look at the last column, she wants us to complete and do so by Friday. She wants to know what the current status is. One of them was, I believe, the property in the corner of Parker Road and Grassy Brook Road. The young lady that was on the planning committee. I'm experiencing a senior moment.
Leah
Daly. I think it's her property. And that may be solved by the fact that we put in that additional that Sam Bourne was involved with and Mark, which drained off the excess from the beaver pond above. And she deleted a culvert that was within 5 feet of her foundation, was leaking and filling her cellar with water. So I think that's a non-event. The other one, I believe, might be, since it's given an address of 872 Grassy Brook Road, is the Oliver and Emily Ames property. And if I recall correctly, after we did some research on that, we were given costs of $550,000 to $750,000, which in our budget probably is a non-event. So we've got two questions, one of which we already know. The other one's probably not going to happen. We could simply state that still in process, trying to determine sources of funding. And I think that would solve having that document filed.
We lost your audio.
Oh, okay. So, I'm sorry.
All the important stuff you said we couldn't hear.
I'm sorry.
Oliver and Emily Ames, start there. Yes, go.
Yes. Okay. Basically what I said is when we pursued that further, we had made phone calls to some construction companies. I believe one that had put in a bridge up north where the road turns to dirt on Grassy Brook Road. And we got estimates of $550,000 to $750,000. I think Archie spoke with Renowned Construction, and they said if you're going to try to do what is desired there, it more than likely will cost you $750,000. So obviously there are no grants that I'm aware of that are available for that sort of project. So I don't know whether it's best to just say on hold, still working on receiving funding. So there is an option short of saying we simply can't do it and it's nothing we can afford. So those are the three options on that. That's to be completed for Friday. I've asked the person that sent it to you and I, Michael, if she could clarify that those two properties are the ones that I think they are, so that we could proceed with that. The other one is a lot quicker. It's the LOEP that we need to fill out by June 1st, that you would assign to Doug and myself to work out and complete. Before this meeting, I looked at last year's. We can copy last year's almost to the word. The only thing that's required is there's two documents. In the shortest of the two, there's one line that needs to be inserted below one of the headings, and it's just my name and phone number. And the other thing that needs to happen on that is we need a form that actually has the chair of the select board stating that the select board has voted to adopt this year's paperwork, and then a signature from the fire chief saying that he endorses the project as described on the sheet. It's the exact same one as last year, except adding a name and a phone number, and then waiting for your signatures. And somewhere in between there, the select board has to authorize you to sign that. When I wrote the lady back who asked for it, I told her in reality, because of needing a vote, it's not on today's meeting agenda. We won't have it back to her probably till the 10th of May. So those are the three things I want to bring up.
So did you say I have to sign something at some point?
Yep, you got to sign the LEMP.
Okay.
As well as does the fire chief.
And we have to have a vote to authorize him to sign it?
You have to have a vote authorizing the chair of the select board to sign it. It specifically says you can send a printed or typed name on there as as confirmation that it was voted on by the select board at a regularly scheduled select board meeting as a part of submitting that document.
Is that a motion you can make tonight?
It's
Or do
not
we
on
have
the
to wait?
agenda, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So your
well,
first one in May would be the opportune time, and whoever you want to do the paperwork, whether it be Doug or myself, if it's okay to use last year's, which is exactly what's happening this year, same people, same phone numbers, same buildings,
Yeah.
etc., we could use that and save a lot of time.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
save a lot
Okay.
of time. Let's
Okay.
hope to save a lot of time.
By 30.
If
Okay,
you
so
have
moving
no
on to
problem,
motion,
I'll,
let's,
I'll prepare that for your next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
As far as this back in this construction and the floodplain thing, it's not going away. So I'm not sure what our action is other than if somebody wants to build something, it doesn't seem like pronto, we need to be able to do whatever it is we're supposed to do.
We're probably gonna have to address trying to find a floodplain administrator.
It seems like there's somebody from the state, somebody's been in here and talked about floodland. You know, you can't build on a floodland anymore. There's river corridors and stream corridors. You're not allowed to build within so many feet of a.
That may all be the case. Process wise, if somebody wants to, sounds like we have to do something. We have to ask them to submit something, we have to review it, it has to go to the state, and then they say no.
That's a floodplain.
But I mean, it's homework.
My understanding is because it's pre-existing, it's already there. It has a septic system, etc. And they want to not add a structure, but they want to take a garage, I believe, and make a living unit out of it. The bylaw says any modification to an existing structure needs to go through these phases. There's no way around, unless when he hears from someone the basics of what it's going to require, he decides he doesn't want to go ahead with it. It would seem that the town mothers and fathers are going to have to come up with a floodplain administrator. And technically, in fact, the lady that was last here, Mrs. Feifel, she indicated that it would behoove ourselves. So ultimately, should someone want to become hard-nosed, that the town initiate the proceedings of finding or nominating a floodplain administrator. Period. So just things to come down the pike.
Is this like 70% from FEMA if we have a flood?
Yeah.
Does the floodplain administrator, we need someone with special skills and knowledge and understanding? This is not just a person we need in this position?
They need to at some point. I don't believe they have to at the outset, but they need to be willing to take two courses that certify their knowledge and ability to function within the program. I might add, preparing for tonight's presentation of this to you and not wanting to sit flat-footed, I've already asked the regional director for DEC to send the town a package that's required for this particular thing, should the gentleman want to proceed, and direct it to the attention of the select board. So if you see something coming from that department in the next week, that's why.
And the DEC also has floodplain managers, but that's different. So the floodplain manager for our county can't also be our administrator.
She's basically a super department head who does not serve in the capacity of floodplain manager. She just basically is to be confirming that every town has one. When I called the 7 towns a year and a half ago to confirm it, a majority of the towns did have one. It was the same person who does their zoning. There were 2, in addition to ourselves, who did not have a floodplain administrator. They haven't been aggressive in enforcing the fact that people haven't, but it does say in the agreement that we signed with the state to enable our citizens to get floodplain coverage at a low cost and to be enabling the town to get reimbursement for floodplain repairs at a high volume of funds from FEMA as opposed to a 25-75 scenario. The town apparently in 2005, I think it was Joyce Meal, Archie Clark, and Mike Fontaine, who signed those documents with the state to get a better rate and enable people to get floodplain insurance. And it's just a matter. We've been lucky, but at some point it's going to have to happen. And this is a thing that I've been concerned about for a while now, that at some point someone who is in a floodplain is going to ask to do improvements, and it's going to start the clock ticking.
Is that role something that you would entertain if offered or if recruited?
Well, yes, I would. I, as an appraiser, have run into a lot of stuff with floodplain stuff. I don't have a knowledge of everything, but I certainly have read the bylaw. I've read other things related to this. I am somewhat familiar with the flood insurance program. I don't know who else in town might have that knowledge, but if somebody wants to learn it, certainly, I'm willing to step aside. But with the lack of that, I would be willing to take it over if the boards wanted so to be.
Well, we got a good point. Maybe we'll put out a bulletin, whatever. Say, hey, we need a floodplain administrator. Anybody interested? Nobody's going to be interested. And
it seems so we've already put that out at one time, or it's a paid position and you have to go to school to become one. And it seemed like it was
paid, mean like a stipend like we get, or paid like that?
It sounded more like a position of town employee.
I think the fees that I found were they ranged from $500 a year to $1,500 a year for the position. It varied from town to town, but that's the range that I found when I asked them and might I ask what you're getting at your current role? That's the answer that I continually got.
Can I say something here for a second? Can I?
Yeah.
Hi, you can hear me?
Is that Dot?
Yes, it's Dot. I wanted to say that there's probably no one better than Stan Noga to be appointed to that position, and it should be a stipend position because of the amount of work that I know it's going to take, and Stan would be very, very efficient with it. I also said that the town needs to also, when they develop this position, pay for those testing skills that he's going to have to go through. The test costs like $500 or $600 a piece, but just being certified, I think that's a wonderful service to the community, Stan. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Dot. It's appreciated.
Yep, appreciate you.
Okay, we're gonna move on because we're gonna move on.
Okay.
All right.
We can address that next time.
Huh?
We can address that next time.
Yes, hopefully. Yes, I'm gonna. Yeah.
So did Stan asked if he could sort of unofficially approach the person to explain the process. Did we want to give him the go ahead to do that?
I'd love to. What do you think?
No, I think so too.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that. I'd be willing to do that and just indicate that it came up, and having had some interface, I'd be happy to provide him with some of the things that I'm aware of he would have to do, and if he wished to pursue it, to let the select board know that. So if you're willing, if you don't mind, I'd be happy to do that.
Go for it.
Thanks, Stan.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
I didn't even pick up the warrants. This meeting was like a mess.
Are they out there? Do you want me to grab them?
Yeah, please. Okay, so we'll come back to that. But what on the paving? Did we have an action that we?
I reached out.
I was just sorry to interrupt. Are you not doing any unscheduled members of the public tonight because it's too packed of an agenda?
Sorry, sure. I lost control of the meeting. Go ahead, Leanne. Under unscheduled members of the public. Go ahead, please.
Okay, well, first, this will only take 2 seconds. Originally, I was going to support Laurie now with her approach on Act 181 and urge the select board to write a letter to the state. There's sort of a fine line between conservatorship, responsible development and property owner rights, and I think that surpasses it. But the longer point that I wanted to bring up tonight is many of you may have heard the school budget was defeated at the recent meeting. And we've heard people didn't know there was a vote, and we've heard mixed reasons as to why it was defeated. So I just wanted to publicly put out there that there is a special meeting of the school board April 29th at 6 p.m. at Leland and Gray and on Zoom to hear from members of the public for what direction they would like to go, they would like the board to go with in revising the budget for another vote.
Okay. What happened? The public turned it down. So then after April 29th, did the school make some sort of adjustments to the budget or something and then re-pose?
Yes, we have to propose a different budget unless there was a petition for a reconsideration of the same budget. We have to make some sort of change to the budget before bringing it up for a revote. So we're just trying to figure out, you know, why it was voted down to begin with, so we know how to adjust it.
Okay. Okay. Let's. It's okay with you guys. Let's skip to 6 and just I'll grab the payroll one for
Okay.
Paving. What are we doing with paving?
So paving, I reached out to the winning bid guy and spoke to him about maximizing our town budget funding to fit the project, and he has no problem with helping us afford what we want to spend. And he said that the price of material is like stocks, it goes up and down daily. So he said when it got close to the time they were going to pave, he would come see us and let us know how much area our money will cover.
So when we do that, we're still gonna grind the rest of what we're gonna do the exact same thing.
Yeah, it'll be a 2-inch mill and a 3-inch in 2 layers put back. So we probably can do more like 1.5 miles unless the price keeps going too high. It might be more of a mile.
Yeah.
But he said it could drop, you know, if things go right, and but he would let us know when the time gets closer. He'll come over and talk to us about it.
What is the time getting right? What is that? What does that mean? What is
Their scheduling. They know that we have deadlines, you know, July 1 to September, I think it was September 31. So as they're getting closer to their scheduled date, he'll give us time enough to give us the numbers we need to learn what are.
And the road doesn't get closed, right?
No.
They leave one side.
They have flagging, yeah, okay, to one side at a time. Yeah, yeah.
That was both at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that it on paving?
Yeah, that's it on paving.
Okay. Okay, April 18th, building day work group planning update. So I think we just wanted to, Emily, you can add in here, but April 18th, 9 to 11, we're gonna have the buildings open. Who's doing what building?
So I will do here in the round schoolhouse. I think I can walk back and forth across the street and cover both of them.
Yeah. So Mark, you're doing the shed?
Yeah, I'll do the shed.
Okay. You're doing the school. And you said you do the meeting house, but Fran and you can run back up, but Fran and Tim want to.
Oh, to be involved in the meeting house?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. If there's any,
That was a good idea.
the thing is, if there's any questions about building a barn or anything,
Yeah.
they can.
You go ahead. You should run back and forth. I mean, they'll kind of
run.
away. You can do your back and forth thing, but I'm, you know, they're gonna be there.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
What are you gonna do? Nothing?
I have a job, what?
He can wander between all of them and make sure we're doing our job.
Sure, we're doing our job, oh boy. That was, I knew that was coming.
The goal is to hopefully recruit interested people who might be interested in working on the work. You know, so you might have, I think what I'd like to do is give everybody like a sign up sheet. You know, if you're interested in either the work group, name, contact, you know, email, phone, whatever, so then we can and you know, talk up the the importance of this, so that we can recruit members to the building work group. Emily, any comments?
That sounds good to me. I'll send another reminder for the open building day tomorrow through all the different channels.
I think
Open building there.
She's gonna send another.
send another round. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I've only heard, so on the clerk she's been sending out, it's got, reach out to Mike, the social, if you're interested, only 2 people have expressed interest. It's actually 3 people, Mary and her husband, Mary, Vicky, and, Dan has expressed potentially. I haven't heard from anybody else. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay.
Sorry, I won't be there.
Ethics. Yeah, that's all right. You got important stuff to take care of. Are you in Tennessee or wherever?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hope all goes well then.
Thank you.
Ethics liaison. Do we want to take any action on that tonight and appoint an ethics or nominate or appoint an ethics liaison?
I think we should. I think it can be quick. So at our first meeting when we were appointing everyone, there was some question about what was going on with ethics and whether we still needed that. I asked Marjorie to look into it for us, and it appears that we still do need one. The confusion has come from the fact that the state agency that is supposed to investigate ethics complaints is pretty much defunded and no longer takes complaints because they don't have anyone working there. But I think we still technically need to appoint someone to be so that they know who to communicate with if they need to communicate with someone. So with that in mind, I would nominate Marjorie Ray to be our ethics liaison.
Any second to that nomination? To that, I guess I'm making a motion, right? Or nomination, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She made a motion to appoint.
Yeah.
Motion to appoint? Okay, I move to appoint Marjorie Ray as our ethics liaison.
Do I have a second?
Sure.
Bruce, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of? Do you know if Margie's willing to continue that role?
Yes, she did. She said she'd be happy to be appointed again.
Okay, all in favor of the appointing Marjorie as ethics liaison, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Moving on, town meeting for shed project. What do we want to say about that?
Do we have to create an agenda first before we announce that we're having the meeting? Probably got that would be good. So we have to have the agenda first? Just
I don't think we need it at the same time. We need to have it in time to meet the timeline.
Right. Let's Dot's here. She might know more about those timelines. So we need to give how long of a notice for a town meeting? Was it 60 minutes? Okay. I move that we set a date. And then we can set the agenda after that unless I'm doing something out of line. So what's today's date? Today's April 15th. June 15th. What day is June 15th? I can't see. Let me see. That's a good question. Tell me, Dennis, I know you got your computer going there. What day is June 15th?
That's a Monday.
It's a Monday. So Monday, I suggest 15th, 16th, 17th, that we set it for the 20th of June. The town meeting at the school to discuss what we're talking about, which is to
So you're making a motion to have a town meeting, special town meeting, June 20th. Is that Saturday? 9 to 11, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock, fine.
Okay.
To discuss and approve to move forward on the town shed project. And as far as I don't know when we have to do an agenda, but I could draw that up.
Let's see if the motion, so you made the motions.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark second. All right, discussion. The only discussion I want, well, the only thing on my mind is the discussion is how do we not confuse the world with the town of Brookline with this building project and then the special town meeting on building shed? Does anybody else feel that's confusing? We can manage it
I think
confusion.
it's pretty finite. We've been discussing this for better part 6, 7, 8 years at select board meetings of doing this, and it's something that's really more of a, it's really more of a maintenance thing too as well.
Yeah.
Because we're having a deteriorating condition in the building and things that are needed to make that successful, so that going on in the future, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
So you don't think it's confusing? I understand the merits. You don't think it's confusing? And now
I think it's somewhat confusing, and we're gonna have probably another town meeting before the end of the year to vote on the outcome of the building committee, or whatever we're calling that. So we're gonna end up having a couple because of that. I understand your desire to do this as quickly as we can so we can work on it, but last meeting we talked about there may potentially be some other money too, right? That was gonna add to that. I'm all for having the town vote on the new building. I opposed to spending all our people money for that. So I think, and I'll state my case at the town meeting that I think we should vote against spending the money on that. And we should fund the project that we need through some other means, which would mean taxation, additional taxation for people.
It's true.
But we're gonna need that FEMA money for other things, and we don't need to talk about that tonight. I'll make my case at the town meeting and we'll do it.
But we have 60 days. In that 60-day guideline, we're gonna know a lot better off of what's going on with the expenditures that we have to come up with. What we have left over, if we have, for the Yellow Ware Road project. What money that we're gonna have to put down for the Hill Road project, the percentage of that. And everything else that we need to think about. I've already discussed it with Melissa at great length the other day, and she's meeting with you Friday, I guess, with FEMA. And that all has to be considered. Honestly, I don't even know, we haven't been promised the money for that Hill Road project yet. And so we're doing all this legwork for that project, and make no mistake about it, it's clear to me, this town wants to fix that arch bridge. But we still have to determine, I'm going a little bit, but I'll get back on track. We have to figure out where our money lays. And that also encompasses where this committee goes and where the direction of the town goes. There was discussion about an emergency fund. Well, I haven't an answer for the emergency fund, but I'll save that for now. But we'll get back to the issue. I think we should have this, it's not a big deal, 2-hour town meeting. If you have another 2-hour town meeting in September or October, so what? These are important issues. This is a very important issue as far as I'm concerned, because we have limited capabilities in that town shed situation and it needs to be addressed.
And you don't think it's confusing, so that was my comment. Emily, what do you think? Do you think it's confusing at all? And not that we can't manage the confusion, I'm just saying.
I think it's a little confusing. I'm trying to, I think we're going to be asking for a lot of civic engagement this summer. We're going to try and get people to go on this committee, and then the committee is going to be trying to get public feedback as well. I imagine they'll be trying to call some meetings or focus groups or something to get some engagement. And then we have been intending to send it to a vote in the fall. And this is a buildings issue. If we had no time pressure, which I understand there's time pressure, but if we didn't have any time pressure, it would seem clear to me that the new buildings at the town shed should be part of the report that the committee puts together and puts forward to the town, so they can have all the information about all the buildings at one time, and then they can vote on all of the building issues that need to be voted on. I think that would be straightforward and kind of consolidate our asks to the town. I'm also just a little, I feel like we need to have a good reason for explaining why we're calling a special town meeting 2 months after our last town meeting. Um, so you know, that's kind of what I think, but there is time pressure to get it done, so I'm sort of waffling.
Is there a scenario where we have I'll pick the June, whatever you meant, June 20th. We have the town meeting. We're getting everybody together. We have the town meeting, but then adjourn the town meeting and have what I expect would be the work groups scheduled session to receive feedback, input from the people that are there relative to their work.
Okay.
You got them all together, say, hey, this is the town meeting, voted yes or no, boom, terminate, end the meeting. Now we go into the informational gathering session that the work group.
But there will be a vote at the town meeting.
Yeah, everything you asked for, all that's on it is the town shed. We end the town shed, but nobody leaves the room. We end the town meeting.
Town yard, go ahead.
We end the town meeting. And now we've got everybody in the room. We have the information gathering session, which I anticipate this work group would want to have, at least one of them, and maybe even throw out ideas or whatever, have a session to gather a lot of information and give some information. Separate meeting, separate purpose, but we got everybody there, half hour, whatever, an hour.
That's a good idea.
Does that work?
Yeah, I think that would be good to capitalize on having everyone together.
It would give people more of an interest to come because there'd be more than one item to talk about. So they like what happened here tonight. We had several different issues. If we just had one issue, we wouldn't have had as many people. It'll draw more people.
It also allows you to say, what's going on? We get two different. Yes, we have two different methods. The shed is on the track, but then we've got the work group doing basically everything else, right? I don't know. That's just my idea of I read the needle.
I don't have a problem with that.
Getting the cat, whatever term you want to use.
You don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and it gives us
That
more
in
to
itself is
talk about.
Huh?
Gives us more to
that?
talk about. Say we're not just calling a town meeting for one thing that we maybe forgot about at the last town meeting. But we have lots to ask you questions about.
Yeah. If I could make one other comment on the money. And we talked about last meeting and about getting Melissa to put together I'll call it a cash flow funding chart. Because we have so much cash going out with all these projects and cash coming in, but there's like time delay, right?
Yeah.
And the FEMA money that you're going to use for the shed project is also money that's sitting there that would be a wonderful source of cash flow for this, timing wise for these other projects.
Okay, Justin.
So
Justin.
that would be
This goes to my argument last time.
What?
This goes to my argument last time. That everything needs to go down on paper, that we can see it, discuss it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's advantageous to sit here and discuss the different which ways you're gonna talk about spending this money or that money. I'd like to see it all in paper.
I agree. I'm just reiterating that we need to do that homework ASAP.
Yeah,
Because
and as far as the committee, I'm really hoping if we have one, that they'll be expeditious and move forward. Because whether you like it or not, I still have to deal with the insulation contract, the insulation grant, which is sitting out there. And so I'm hopeful that the new committee will take a leg and get some more done, and we can come up with some kind of, maybe they could. Love that.
it's not, them making decisions about the Brookline Meeting House insulation is not part of the scope of work.
Wait a minute. Well, you're talking about what to do with the buildings.
We're talking about whether or not we're gonna keep buildings or sell buildings or use buildings. We're not talking about installations and fixing roofs.
Well, that's a part of it. Whatever. Let's not go on all here till midnight.
No.
So, I'll go back to my original idea and suggestion that we spend all the money on the table and analyze that first. Then we'll go from there.
Okay, so any other discussion on Bruce's motion? Okay. I'm gonna can I make a motion, can I want to make, I want a motion. I want to modify the motion.
Yeah.
It's June 20th to be two meetings.
Okay.
One, Bruce's town meeting related to the shed, and two, an anticipated work group informational gathering and sharing session.
Okay.
May I have a
I'll
second for that motion?
I'll second the amendment.
Okay, any discussion on my motion? Further discussion?
Him, right?
Right. Not hearing any, we'll first vote on my motion to adjust the motion, Bruce's motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, now to the motion of Richard's motion, modified motion now to have a town meeting, talk about the shed, and also to have the informational session. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,
But what's the time frame though for, isn't a vote, it's just to talk about.
No, Bruce's motion was to town meeting to vote on the building.
But don't you need so many days? Is this gonna work
60 days.
within 60 days?
That's what we're doing now, going on.
yeah, I mean, the underlying assumption is here, it'll be legal, and we won't be able to.
Okay.
So I have to push it.
Yeah. I didn't do the math, so I wasn't sure if it.
How many days out is that? Because
Well, 60 days is past
65.
60 plus.
so that means it has to be posted, it has to be warned in the next 5 days.
45, I think, on the warning. Do you know, Emily? 45 days for the warning?
She doesn't know.
I don't
Dot,
know.
do you hear, can you hear that, Dot? Are you alive? Unmute yourself. Wake up.
I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself. I think I can't, I'd have to double check off the top of my head,
Okay.
but you'd also have to contact the moderator, David Parker, because he would be running the town meeting.
Okay.
All right. I can't help you
Well,
with
Kitty,
this.
but Doug's trying to dig it up.
I'm trying to look. I can't type. You guys can move on while I'm looking.
Okay.
We'll have to really look at this project thing.
What is, we're moving on, well, Doug does a little research. Action, Vermont Council of Rural Community Visit Progress. I don't know what that
Okay.
is.
So
yours?
this is mine. In December, we had Jessica Savage from the Vermont Council of Rural Development come to talk about the programs that they offer. And their work is specifically on community communication, facilitation, and engagement. The main project that or program that she talked about that they do is the community visit process, where they come and they have small focus groups to figure out what the town needs and wants and prioritizes, and then they put groups of people together to work on those priorities. And I think it was about a 4-month process. And there's quite a long waiting list to do that. But I thought that we might as well get on the waiting list, because I don't think that our community planning and placemaking processes are going to be magically finished by the end of the year. So I wanted to propose that we ask to get on their wait list, and it seems pretty low risk, and maybe we'll become eligible for those services at a time that we need them. So I guess I will make a motion that we, and I can handle this, that we contact the Vermont Council of Rural Development to get on their wait list for their community visit process.
Second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Please do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Bracken, architectural grant, Brookline Meeting House.
Okay, like I said to you folks last night, I was steered off by Storm Preservation Ordinance to call Jackson Evans about consideration of getting architectural work for the entranceway and the inside of the building for an ADA accessible bathroom. And she put Jackson came up with it with an architect. Architect and I have been back and forth about it, and he had sent the contract to me. And basically, it's no cash out of pocket by us. It's a $2,500 grant given by Preservation Trust to do the architectural drawings. Doesn't mean we have to follow the architectural drawings. It just means we're getting architectural drawings for free. He's going to come down 2 hours from Winooski and walk the place and take measurements and go back and do it. And then at that point, I believe at that point is when we have to pay. Yeah, I believe that's what he's going to do. You should know that. Measure existing conditions of Meeting House and Penn Street, including driving to and from project location. Proposed drawings, floor plan, exterior, elevation, showing new exterior ADA ramp and canopy and new interior ADA bathroom that shall meet all applicable ADA standards. The cost of services is $2,500. And we would pay that, and then we'd be reimbursed by Preservation Trust after that's completed.
Okay, so you make your motion?
I'm making my motion that we approve this. I guess I'm the client because I'm the one he's dealing with. It doesn't say select board chair in it. I can send it back to him. I'll fax it back. I'll probably end up faxing it back to him and calling him. I've had two, three things. One, I realize guys very excited about looking at our building. So I'm making a motion that we accept this grant of $2,500 and move forward with it. We should have results by early June.
So I'm confused. Does the grant require us to use this specific person or just an opportunity to use this person? And then secondly, are we okay with our purchase policy?
They said there's nothing to do with the purchase policy. This
when?
This is coming right out of the fund. It has like this purchase policy.
No, we have a purchase policy when we hire people or vendors.
Doc, do we have to have a purchase policy for this?
No, we have a purchase policy. My question is.
When you're getting money, if you're not getting money from a taxpayer, then if you read the purchase policy, there's a clause in there that says you can grant money, you don't need to follow the numbers, the dollar amount. But you don't read the policy. It does stipulate that you can do what you're doing tonight.
I think that's hard. So twice before we've got grants and then. That's good. It's okay, yeah. So anyway, that's my motion. And then I sign off on this and get it going.
Okay, second? I'll second it. Any discussion?
So do we have to pay him up front and then we get reimbursed?
Or what does he say? For the processors and 60, 20 additional services, the following schedule, we don't pay him. We pay him when it's done.
We pay him ahead of getting reimbursed.
Yeah.
We get reimbursed by Preservation Trust when this is done. So the funds will come out of the Meeting House budget and then it goes back in.
It's pretty quick, right?
The preservation. Oh, yeah. We've gotten two Robert Sensible grants from the first one within 2014. An analysis of buildings, I think it's like $500. And we also had a second one, I forget when that was. So this is like the third time minimum we've got.
I'm sorry, were we voting? I just like to forget that I called for a vote.
We had a second, we didn't go.
Okay. Any further discussion?
So just to be clear, this is for porch design, ADA ramp?
Yes. And measure existing conditions of the Meeting House vestry includes driving to and from the project location. Proposed drawings, floor plan, and exterior elevation showing new exterior ADA ramp and canopy and new interior ADA bathroom that shall meet all applicable ADA standards.
It's a decision, it's to get the architectural design, not a decision to do.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
That's way.
I mean, it's free money, they came to us, why not?
Okay.
That's for you guys last year.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, okay. Next one is change of work order to order. Wow. It's a wrap, fine. Well, Hammond, okay, so Hammond, the contracts we have with Hammond.
This is Michael, is that you? I have a left-hand corner on me?
No, no.
Is there somebody else?
We asked him last time, he never identified himself.
I'm keeping rocking here. In your package, you have, so Hammond's contracts, 2 contracts with us, basically, the scope of the work has been completed, okay? But we have extended the contract itself to September 30, 2026. We signed that last week. I also asked him to send me, scope of work that we said we would use as a work change order to the existing contracts for additional support now during the construction projects. And to take us basically to the end of the project. And he submitted those. They're in front of you. You have them in your package. It's in the case of Ellen Ware, it's his fee is $7,394, and then there's $1,000 of soil engineering testing that it sounds like he subcontracts to that we would pay directly. So it's basically $8,394 additional services to oversee and help us in the Elmwood project. The next page, which is the Hill Road project, same thing. Various levels of work that, by the way, we can use him on or not use him on. We don't have to use him for any of this stuff, or basically an hourly rate. But he estimates fee of $9,331, and then structural engineering site visit if necessary, billed directly to the town. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow, but $2,000 he's got for a structural engineering site visit. I don't know what that is, because he's not gonna do any structural engineering. Or it's somebody else, because it says paid directly by the town. So it might be if he hires a stone engineer or something. I don't know. But so that would be 11,000. The Hill Road would be paid basically 90% by FEMA unless there's some carve out or something, which I doubt. And the Ellen Ware Road basically would be part of the 270, come out of the 270,000 that we've already got.
We haven't got 271 down.
No, we got approval for the 270.
Right.
We need this. I can't really move these projects forward without this guy. He's been invaluable to me and Mark.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the contingency of the 5% in case there's an issue with one of the projects.
It's his time.
Yes, I see.
Keeping us on track.
Okay.
And we can't really bring anybody else in to do it because he's done all engineering already to begin with.
And we're doing it as a scope of work change to the existing contract to navigate our purchase policy, because it makes no sense to go to RFP for this stuff. So it's a change of scope of work of the existing contract. And then I think he also put in, it's an hour, $110 if something else was to come up that we needed them for. Basically this whole thing is we're paying $110 an hour for this stuff. Okay. So I would like to make a motion to approve both of these changes of scope and work, subject to me getting a couple of clarifications on, especially this $2,000 item.
I'll second that.
Okay, Bruce second.
No.
Any discussion? Doug second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving these scope changes of work, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Emily, you okay? You okay with aye? Yeah.
You're
okay.
muted.
You're muted.
Sorry,
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
I'm just sorry. I'm just thinking about all those FEMA provisions that I was working on and whether or not they need to be in his contracts.
We'll ask tomorrow. I'll ask on Friday. I'll ask on Friday, but the contract's already in place, and I think it has some FEMA stuff in there. think that when Stan struck them with him, there was FEMA language in there. It's just may not be all the stuff that supposed to have. And if not, we'll add it.
Yeah,
We'll
okay,
make
so
it-
just let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
So before we go too much further, from what I can figure out from the League of Cities and Towns, we have to post a warning 30 days prior.
Close to
Okay.
like the,
Yeah.
What's so,
what's
so make,
So for 60 days, all I could find was if we're petitioned to have a town meeting, we have to do it within 60 days.
oh,
okay,
And I don't know my login, I gotta look, I got it written down to get the whole guide to the special town meeting.
okay.
okay.
But it looks like the warning is 30 days prior.
Okay, the worst thing, well, sure, you know, so what I need to do is develop a scope. I got some real good news for all of you guys. You're getting a boost break in the first week in May. No, I won't be here the first week in May.
Yeah.
But don't, you know what, Friday? I'll be back on it's weird, because I'll be back on the 20th. Keep going, but I am. That's 7 Oh my God, thanks today. So, you're gonna need a scope of work by that day. And post it on that day. You said 30 days, right? Yeah, so 30 days. So that's okay. We'll be all right. You see what I'm saying?
So all the warning has to say is the amount. And,
Okay.
you know, that we want to authorize the use of the FEMA funds for this amount.
Okay.
For purpose of building the.
Yeah, see your argument. Actually, your argument, that could be amended.
Yeah.
Someone can amend and say, well, no way, we're gonna wait till freaking next year and do tax money or something like that. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's coming up, I like the idea that's coming up. We're addressing it, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And so.
Yes.
So.
Where was I on this whole thing? Well, okay, change of work order, I can't, because we passed that. So now, Green Mountain Power Electric Line Agreement.
Oh,
oh
boy.
So I would make a motion that we approve the Green Mountain agreement to extend or to improve the power line from Hill Road to Whitney Hill Road.
I'll second.
So we can discuss it.
I'll second.
So we can discuss. Yeah. Like that. Here we go. Mark, you start.
I think it needs to be done. I agree with the rest of the public. Nobody wants to see the second pole. But I think it's an opportunity that if we don't do it now, it's gonna take a lot longer and become more expensive and like I mentioned, they can't switch that wire off the old pole to the new pole if the new poles aren't there. So I'm gonna vote for approving putting the poles in.
Yeah. I'm with Mark on that. I'm ready to vote for it. And I think, you know, it's gonna improve our electrical service. And, you know, they have no control over what the other utility companies do. I think we should pursue, you know, maybe a letter to Consolidated and Comcast, asking them to move it.
Yeah.
As quickly as possible, but I don't think we should delay it to hold off on that.
I think we should get the information, the contacts for Consolidated and Comcast to see if their representatives would come to a meeting.
Yes.
And give us some input on when they think this will all.
But not as a condition of signing this.
No, not as a condition.
Yeah.
As part of the
As
process.
an action, separate action.
Right.
Yeah. Emily?
I agree with all of that. I think what stood out to me was what Tim's talking about, how they've just updated hundreds of miles of poles, and that is something that they were given a lot of money to do. So I kind of understand why the comms companies, they weren't given a ton of money to go switch things on hundreds of miles of poles. So it makes sense to me that it's going to take a while. And I just think it's unrealistic to think that they will give us any kind of commitment, and I don't think we should hold up the utility upgrade when it's unlikely that we're going to get anything that we'd find acceptable. And I'd also think that if they're not communicative and they don't want to really work with us, we can give those contact information pieces to anyone who wants them, and individual landowners, if they really object to having two poles, they can push the people to come, and maybe they'll switch them on a small scale and get that done faster than the whole line, for anyone who's really motivated. So I would vote in favor of just approving it for GMP now.
Okay. Yeah. Whose responsibility is the poles coming out? Is it the phone company?
The Green Mountain, when I asked them, they said they'll take them down. I said, who owns the poles and who's responsible for taking them down?
That's what I want to know.
They said,
Oh,
it's a little unclear.
oh boy.
But
Oh boy.
it depends on the pole, blah, blah, blah. But at least when I was talking to Green Mountain about me, they said, we'll take them down.
That was how many poles?
That's like 3 or 4 poles.
Yeah, not the whole road.
No, but I'm just saying, he seemed to have the authority to take them down.
I'm pretty certain Tim at the last meeting said after the other people get their lines off, they would take them out.
Yes.
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
That's what he told me
Alright.
in my individual situation.
Well, I agree with Mark pursuing the letter stuff. And I'm gonna support it. I don't think it's a good idea to miss this opportunity. And if they run out of money and see in 10 years, I don't think that's a good idea at all.
Yeah.
No, it's not a good idea, but
I mean, it's not a good, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to go that approach is what I meant. So, to not do it and say la vie, hopefully that Green Mountain Power comes back in a decade, you know? Yeah, because that's what will happen. So I'm in agreement with my thoughts.
okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, Doug's motion to sign this? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna sign it.
We are.
I'll pass it around. You folks sign. Again, I'll work with Tim, which I can sign. I think I actually had another version. I lost it. I had his signature on it already, but oh well. But meanwhile, we should put it on our to-do list. He's gonna give us the contact. We should make a push with these other people and beat them up as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it won't be much.
Squeaky wheel getting greased.
Squeaky wheel, there you go, squeaky wheel gets greased.
Maybe
Maybe we'll go around and get signatures. Maybe we can, maybe
Oh,
we'll get
sure.
pushing.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Petition, that's a thought. I think that's jumping the gun a little bit, see how they respond, but if we get the delay crap and,
Oh, that,
vacillation issues, then we submit a petition. When are you gonna do this, guys? We got our polls coming, what are you gonna do?
Data and today, if they,
yeah, I'll contact Tim, let him know that we approved it. Okay. Kirsch Hill Road, Sanborn, Jared Flynn. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the bid of Sanborn for this Hill Road, Kirsch Road project. May I have a second?
yeah, after,
Second?
Yeah, I'll
We're gonna
second.
discuss it in a minute.
yeah,
All right, Mark, second, discussion.
Yeah,
Who wants to?
I want to amend the motion
Oh, okay,
if we have the money.
okay. Well,
Because when I get a commitment,
I don't have much, but,
well, any like you want to do it, subject to receiving the money, subject to getting the money, we're committing to him a bid of 242,000, I guess it's total. Well, which we're gonna have to come up with $242,000. It's gotta come from someplace. Well, we don't have that commitment yet. But we're basically telling him, yes, you got the bid. It's start date, there's an end date, but we haven't got the money yet. So I'm more comfortable with. Let me say this too. I was really impressed with both of them. You know my issues with his dad. And that is not the way I look at it. I've almost said something to him outside personally. Let me finish, please.
No,
I'm very
hold on,
happy.
hold on.
I'm very happy. No, hold on, let me finish. Damn it. I'm very happy with Sam and I'm very happy with him. So you guys didn't look at the stonework, I don't think on the website. It's beautiful stuff. So I feel very confident that they're gonna do a good job. And the shortfall.
Okay. But the cap, back to your modification of the motion, which is the top,
Okay.
okay, is, so what the motion does is approve, we're saying, we're approving their bid, right? The big thing is going to contracts, right? Approving the contracts, which we haven't done yet, right? And so approving the contract is definitely the time when your caveat comes into play.
That's true.
Okay, is in my mind. So what we're doing tonight is we're approving them as the bidder. I'm gonna be working with FEMA. Okay, we've got homework to do before FEMA before we can even go to contract with Sam.
Right.
We gotta submit a scope document that's actually, he submitted already, meeting on Friday. Once they approve the scope, they're basically approving the job.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go to contract. We'll come back here and approve the contract with Sam. Okay, and he's gonna have to, we'll have to have the caveats in there.
Yeah,
So right now, we're just approving him as the winning bid, not approving the.
Because I was beating up Melissa the other day about it. I'll take a loan. So you can find $222,000 in the budget? No, we'll take a loan. If you will figure that out, maybe we'll get lucky and they'll have somebody in advance. I thought about them.
So,
as far as the concerns of the public that were here.
Yeah.
I think most of those are addressable. I'm not real certain about the school bus issue, which is gonna be a short time frame anyway. I think, Sam said he would talk to Todd about the bus run. I would talk to Todd too. I don't see why they can't turn around if they come up from the south end of Hill Road at Gene Albee's house there. That's a big driveway there. They could turn there. I could turn a school bus around there, and I'm not a
What
great
about
actor.
the driveway next one up from Tim Inman?
Yeah,
That one?
yeah, there's a place you could turn around.
You made a point.
Yeah,
And your point. We need to talk to Todd and see where he's at.
yeah, but I think, regardless, even if they can't turn around, we come up with some workaround there somehow. We can't hold up the project.
No, I agree with that.
Well, it's Todd and Greg's job to get these kids to school.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So they need to be notified
Yeah.
that there's a project coming up. And they need to plan, they need to plan
Yeah.
for appropriate bus service to those kids.
Yeah, and there's several people we have to notify. We have to notify the ambulance company and the fire department, so they can, if they get a call in the middle of the night, they gotta go around.
But it's only a span of, what's the date she said the school opens? August?
Last week in August.
Yeah, we're talking about a couple of weeks.
With 3 week window. We can work that out?
Yeah, and I don't think anybody would have said you don't have to worry about. So we'll be done before school, so you don't have to worry. I don't remember that.
No.
Anybody?
But there's a problem here. Is she gonna sign off, is Maura gonna sign off on her easement?
She said she would, subject to the modification about trees and some other language that sounded reasonable modification.
Okay, yeah, so I guess in order to keep her in camp, we gotta keep her posted, what we're talking about with the people at Todd or whatever. So that we're not doing it behind her back, because she could, I'm not saying she would, but she can get it upset and not. Say, I'm not doing
She was also concerned about, blocking access to their house, but they have to leave Kirk Road open so that people can get in and out. So I think, Sam said, everything's gonna be on the bridge side there.
Right.
Oh, I see. So coming up Hill Road, you'd be able to go up Kirsch Road, you'd be able to bear right, or it's coming down. You can't go. I see.
Yeah.
And, what she was talking about, the water running off, she was talking about just coming down Hill Road there.
Yeah.
Did you need to do some other ditching there on the west side to put it back in the brook? They're not part of the project, but after sometime.
There is drainage there.
Yeah.
However, I guess it sheets down, and it's just, I believe it's just something we'll have to work around weather at a time like that. Cause it does it during every hard rain event. It's just the shape of the road kind of brings it downhill and then.
Mark,
Yeah.
is it your job to make these contacts, or whose job is to make the contacts that you said need to be made?
Like the fire department and ambulance. I don't know who's done it in the past. Yeah, I think we just Paul Gary and Gary Livornia did it before because he. Yeah, no, he's in the fire department. He talks to the fire department.
I would
and
actually
ambulance.
do it. I would make all the phone calls.
You did that in the past? Great. Love that.
Yeah.
Who else do we have to notify, Doc?
Mail.
Vermont State Police, Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, and Rescue Inc. and the school district.
School and rescue.
So
the mail carriers,
Yeah.
is,
I'm not gonna be very good at that. I'm gonna.
I'll do that.
But you can.
That's right, because they come right up.
and also, when we get ready to put the, Ellen Ware Road project, Townsend doesn't know that we're gonna close Ellen Ware. So we should probably alert them that.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Project.
I did all that.
So, Dot, even though that's not a main road, we notify all those same people on that project as well.
Let me see, is my speaker on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you could notify anybody who would use that road. That would be, I would notify for the select board in Townsend.
Yeah, and front porch forum.
But
You can also do, Emily's been doing a terrific job with the front porch forum and the newsletter and Facebook. So kudos for that, because people get to see it, and appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we probably need to make all the same notifications for that too, because if somebody gets hurt out at the swimming hole, rescue needs to get there. They need to know they can't get through.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
we need to
don't
vote on.
know.
Yeah.
Understand. So all in favor of the motion to approve the bid of Sanborn, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, and yeah, so the process moves forward now to the next step.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not voting.
Okay. Moving on to 7E, Act 181, Laurie Martocci. I'll make a motion that we participate in the letter writing process. This is encouraging, I haven't read the letters yet, but encouraging retraction or adjustment to Act 181.
Okay.
May I have a second?
Second.
Hey, that don't, yeah, it's.
I hope Roger was correct with, the legislative action going on, that is just gonna get delayed at least.
I heard our PU too, they're really going back and forth about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the governor's chimed in about this, has it? I haven't heard a word yet.
I think, didn't he veto it last year and they overrode his veto?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. So he's keeping his mouth shut, why don't you all fight on front or something? Yeah.
So you made a motion that we support?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
It's discussion. Emily?
I feel like I don't know enough about this to have an opinion on it, and I definitely would need to look at the letters that other people are sending before I could really vote on it. I don't think I'm informed enough.
Okay, so you would, okay. I'm not wedded to this thing, so don't, you're not gonna make this.
Yeah, I feel the same as Emily. I I haven't read enough.
Okay, so we were given some materials.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we table the motion? Shall we table the motion to the next meeting? Do the materials?
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know how we get them to Emily.
You can all deal with that one. I'll return them back here.
If there's an extra
Mark?
set, I can pick them up next week. There's an extra set there. I don't know. There is.
Marge can scan them and email them if we tell Marge.
Okay. Okay. You want to ask her to do that?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let's get them scanned to you.
Okay, thank you.
But we don't want you to miss that. All right. So we'll table that motion. Okay. Did we vote for table motion?
We need to vote.
Oh, okay. So all in favor of tabling the motion signify by tabling the motion. Yeah, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we tabled the motion. Okay. Emily, do you have any reports?
Just to see that I saw your comments on the FEMA contracts, and I will work on them in the next few days to get those incorporated. And I agree that we need to sit down with the people we're hiring to go through the contracts because they're very long. I think most of the FEMA language is kind of scary but permissive. Like, you should do this, but it's going to be a 40+ page contract. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's nothing. Okay. Mark, anything?
Just Putney Mountain Road is now open for the season.
I drove it tonight. It's in good shape.
Yeah, I think it wintered well, and one tree. I've been doing some road upgrades to Ellen Ware. Cut the trees, cleaned them up for the FEMA project out there. Doing some roadside drainage cleanup. I talked to Lisa Donnelly from Wyndham Regional Commission about our GIA grant for this year, and she's going to be coming up in a couple weeks to tour some areas that I would like to invest their grant in, and she'll say if they approve or disapprove, and then she'll create a map. So that project will go this summer, and well, that's my agenda, but what else was on the agenda there you have for topics?
Second up, and I've given my report next.
Okay. There's one topic that I would like, I don't know if now's the time to bring it up, just talked about it, but the reoccurring trash at the recycle bin. I'm sure everybody where same people time and time again. I think we should see what we have to do to fine them and send them a fine.
So you know what it is?
If you stop and looked in those boxes, it's blatantly obvious. There's pill bottles with names, there's letters and registrations, and it's everything that doesn't belong in the recycle bin, and it happens time and time and time.
Mark, you have.
Are they putting it in the cycle bin?
No, they leave it on the side, outside, and there's a sign there that says do not leave anything outside, so they can't read. At the bottom of Merrill Drive, they put their trash and witness, and they drive away, and the animals get in it, same people.
Okay, so we still have the cameras up on the pole?
We do.
Will we use them?
I want to know if they'll stand up, with the state police to, if that's evidence, or is that invading somebody's privacy?
No, if I remember right,
I mean, it's obvious who's doing it. They left their pretty much their DNA right there.
I remember that.
And the thing is, if we clean it up time and time again, we're just gonna keep doing it. It's free trash removal at our expense. Our outlay. I think there's a lot of people that witnessed it, and I think we should, there's actually a state statute, a fine for littering. And I don't know if it falls under that, but the recycle bins are for certain materials, and they're leaving stuff that's not recyclable.
So okay, so what's the action step though?
I think the town should have a policy, if you can prove somebody leaving trash illegally,
You
you
might
should
not
be
need
able to.
it, you might not need it if you got a state law. On the street, that we can initiate a select board warning to the people, and if they do it again, for the same, you know,
They've been doing it for years.
I
Same
got
people.
that, but they have been warned,
No,
right?
no,
I would guess, and it's a guess, that you would have to warn them first before you fine them. Dot might have warned that kind of crap, she's, that's her upper alley pretty good, but, that's the way I see it anyway. I'm in favor of doing what you're saying, Joe. I just think we not waste our time, do the right approach, so we have success, we can get it stopped.
yeah, I just think it's gone on long enough, we should find out how we can find them and make it fit.
And it's okay by me.
Hey,
I think
Dot,
we could.
have you been listening? You've been down this road before, right?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, yes, I spoke with Mark Anderson about the, how to handle this. And basically, it's very difficult you have to get a full face picture of the operator of the vehicle, clear identification of the license plate, make and model. And then you would contact the state police with that, and they would run the registration and visit the person with a warning, and they could tell the town who they warned. And basically, and if the cameras are a deterrent, but they really have to be placed and monitored on a regular basis, which is sort of impossible for us. What the select board has agreed upon in the past, you might have forgotten, was that you have agreed to suspend the presence of the recyclable barrels for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and absorb the cost, if any, to that process. So to just announce it, and you could suspend service because of that. And that would make people sit up and listen a little. That's all.
Is there any, so you said you're comfortable, you know who it is.
Yeah.
Is there any shaming process that could influence the outcome?
Well, here's the thing, Michael. Who wants to walk up and knock on the door of someone who you know violates the law flagrantly anyway? This was similar to what I was facing with the dogs, going up to people's homes by myself to deal with dog complaints when the people violated the law regularly. So I'm glad that we have a sheriff. You can't call on the state police all the time.
I wasn't thinking about going up to their door. I was thinking about somehow their name goes up on publications and somehow.
I have done that where I've taken pictures of the mail or debris and put them on Facebook. It depends if the administrator will allow that to happen or not. Marjorie Ray is the Brookline administrator, and she does that privately, not as the town clerk.
The name of the person?
Yeah, I took pictures of the mail. I typed up the poem that was written by the third grader whose desk was cleaned out, left there for trash. So I've done that. Been there, done that.
We could also have our lawyers send a cease and desist letter.
If that's the person, but they can say, "Oh, that's somebody stole my garbage."
Yeah, that's right. You gotta have proof. That's what Don's saying. I've heard them say that
Sure,
before.
but you don't need proof to send a cease and desist letter. I mean, if nothing might happen from it, but it's something we could do to say we did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the shaming.
Especially down my avenue.
Cause I mean, you know, right now they're anonymous, they think they're anonymous. And, so we produce the delinquent tax list, right?
That's true.
Now that's a little more factual, but, if we were to produce, produce the name of the person, maybe they can't be shamed, but at least they'll be known.
We could
I don't know.
post
I think
post
everybody
pictures.
knows.
We could
Yeah.
post pictures of the trash and say, if this continues, we'll have to suspend recycling services to recover the costs of dealing with the trash. Here's some pictures of the trash.
Sure. Well, could you then say, in trash, we found the following names on certain things. So we found these names.
That's all right up here shaming.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta get the
But
name.
Michael, are you gonna write those posts as a select board chair? It's gonna be under your name on,
No, it's
are
been
you going to?
delegated. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Delegated to the hazard mitigation,
They know where you live, Michael, they know where you live.
With no comments, do we just post them on our page with no comments? Self-explanatory.
But Emily is at the work, she's in Tennessee.
Alright, I don't know what else to do.
What do you think, Mark?
I wonder if
Well,
the town had a policy for
Oh, yeah.
anything left outside the recycle bin to excess, that they will be fined.
Okay, so if we write a policy and we say if we find evidence like names and whatnot on the trash, we're gonna, whatever, we have to somehow.
So
make
I
something
think
like-
to be enforceable, there has to be an ordinance.
Yeah,
That
ordinance.
there's procedures to follow an established ordinance, we gotta have public hearings, we gotta
Oh, God.
have votes and everything on that.
We don't-
But then, we could do that, and then it would be enforceable, and then we could fine them like the dog ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you're gonna have a special town meeting.
We're gonna you know, about 5 of them in one meeting.
Yeah.
Where we're going.
Yeah. Add it on.
No. What the home?
We can have develop an ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't know, just have a.
I guess we could load the stuff back up, drive up there and dump it out on their property. You know, they like it.
Who's doing that? Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. You've been trying to deviate responsibility all night.
I'm sure next time I'm gonna bring over the Truss's property. I'm gonna let him take it.
You know, we try that. I'll bring out a little sweetheart, you won't be very
I
happy.
don't know,
I don't know what the answer is, but it's annoying, it's aggravating.
Yeah, I saw it there on the outside. Okay, yeah.
Well, without an ordinance, there's not much we can do. So I kind of like the idea of looking at what it would take to have an ordinance for dumping on town property, for instance. And then if we can get that in place, then we have something we can actually do. Right now, it feels like we don't have that many action steps, so.
We at least have the option, right? Enforce the ordinance.
Yeah, have a set amount fine for the first time, and if they didn't pay, it escalates until it's worth their.
Do you think there's an ordinance out there that we could cut and paste? Somebody else that has that ordinance and we can adopt it? Do you think Jamaica has?
I'll look.
Okay.
When I get on to look for the whole warning thing for the town, I'll look for that.
Okay.
And no dumping, I've seen signs for that,
I'll bet that would pass at the town meeting. The orders.
Especially if you tell them we're gonna take away their recycle bin if it doesn't.
We can make that the third part.
Okay, so that will pursue, I think an ordinance is the next step.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, so I don't really have anything to report other than, I think you're absolutely right. It's critical for getting to the point, we need this cash flow schedule that helps us understand what we need to borrow, when we need to borrow, how to get covered, so that we're not robbing one project.
Yeah, we can't rob our roots on either. You can't take it out.
Well, we can rob from anything if it's real short term.
That's correct.
But we can't rob it if you're gonna spend it the next day on the, we can't rob the shed money or the FEMA money if the next day you're gonna spend it on the shed.
Right.
If you're gonna spend it 6 months later, we can put that into the schedule.
Right.
Okay, okay.
You never voted, I'm sorry, you never voted about the scheduling the town meeting because Doug was looking into the warning.
Thank you for keeping us straight on it.
Okay, so we never
So the motion is out there that we schedule it for the 20th of June.
Okay, well, we didn't approve it, Vanessa? No, you didn't approve it? Okay.
We approved the motion.
The amendment, we approved the amendment to include the other part of the meeting.
You did the main motion. I remember doing.
No, because the question of what the warning period was, whether it was 45 days or 60 days, and
Okay.
determined that it was 30 days.
Okay, so let's vote to approve, so let's vote on that motion.
Yeah.
That we have the town meeting on June 20th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Not here.
Okay,
Either way.
okay. Okay, if we find out, if we were to find out we couldn't, because the timing, whatever, we have to, we'll redo the motion. Okay, I have two motions, quick motion, okay. I'd like to move check warrant number 2640. In the amount of $2,320.39. This is payroll, if you will, and 1,000 of it is to Marjorie, and then there's a couple hundred to a few other people.
Can you repeat it, please? The amount?
Pardon me?
Can you?
$2,320.39. May I have a second? So.
I'll second it.
Mark, a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving that warrant, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Okay. There's no AP warrant. Okay.
Wait, there is.
Yes, sir.
There should be.
It was online.
Oh.
We
We
have
just don't
one.
have it. You want us to sign up on that, don't you? Mike?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. I'm sorry, I'm discombobulated tonight.
We got through it though. That wasn't too bad. We could play the little sweetheart note. Chainsaw. It was on it was on my inbox, yeah, it could be, it was Archie, and all of those code freedom. I had to have them come into school.
I'm not denying it, just don't have it.
Okay.
So did you look at it? You
It's
Did you-
AP.
Maybe Emily can pull it up.
I can always remember it, it's the final payment to Archie.
Wait, Emily,
Oh, it's fine.
Emily can pull it up. Make a motion, Emily.
Yeah, let me see if I can share it. Can you see this?
Yeah, well, here you go.
AP
Nice job.
warrant 2641. The total is $21,286.31. The biggest item is AS Clark and Sons Plow and Sand due April 2026 for $13,000.
Get it?
And then code is a big one, 1,800 for the school. Again?
Yeah.
And then
Osmo for stone.
Yeah.
And
So that.
Nito, whoever Nito is.
Diesel fuel for the highway department.
So did you make the motion, Emily?
I move that we approve of AP warrant 2641 in the amount of $21,286.31.
I'll say.
Okay, and I like to amend the motion to allow Mike to sign on our behalf. So we all don't have to come in and sign.
I'll be here tomorrow.
I'll second that amendment.
Yeah, I agree.
All in favor of the amendment to the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Emily's motion. Approve the AP warrant, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This is good.
Communications and there's really nothing on it. Put in your package here. There's some nasty gram that I had that's gonna rub me the wrong way, but I'm not gonna go over it.
Very tight.
Set the agenda for next time. What's the agenda next time? Yes.
Sauna.
We have to do the LEMP for Stan.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, did we approve that he's gonna be floodplain?
Next time we'll do it. I'm gonna put it on, so.
Okay, I'm not, on the trip.
Plain administration. Not that, what do you call it?
Appointment.
Appointment.
So you're gonna talk to Stan between now and then about something? We should sort of feel him out on how much he thinks would be appropriate.
Oh, for.
So we can approve that at the same time we appoint him.
Yeah, that's how you have to back here.
Okay.
See how.
Because we do need to pay him for it.
Yeah, he's gonna go all these. How blown those courses that he's gotta go out.
I thought, when we talked about it before, it's pretty time intensive.
Oh,
to do the
boy.
courses.
Better him than me.
Okay.
Oh my
All
God.
right, so we'll do that. What else is on the agenda? I think I think I'll give a quick FEMA update.
Will you want to
should
look
know.
at FEMA contracts by that date?
Maybe.
Okay, we can always
Maybe.
table it.
Yep. Paper. Yep. Um.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if I didn't hear. Did we talk about paving or will we do that next time? Are we?
181 is gonna be on it. Sorry.
That paving will be tabled till further notice.
Right, cause you have to get the.
Our awarded, vendor for paving wants to talk to us as the, deadline gets closer to, July 1 to let us know how many miles of paving we have that we can afford. And then we'll
Okay.
discuss that.
Okay, so that's
So tabled, I guess we could say,
okay.
till we hear more.
Okay.
And they let us know before they're coming.
Oh, yeah.
While, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah, ahead of schedule, yep. Yeah,
You might want to, we might want to get a contract template in front of get a contract in front of them. That, we don't sign, but they get a chance to read everything so that we don't get hung up right at the end. Right, they say it costs $10, we're ready to go, and now there's this other stupid language that they don't like in the contract or something.
yeah, Emily, did we have something going on with the contract for the pavers?
I think we talked about how we would wait to do the contract until we knew the full scope.
Okay. Yeah.
So as soon as I hear something, we'll put that together.
Yeah.
Hit that time frame.
Okay. I wrote the actually in 181. We're gonna talk about that next time. We're gonna have a motion on this thing with the letters. Anything else? Okay. If we're done, I think it was a good meeting. I'm glad that we spent the time, let everybody with the questions out on those in the beginning.
I mean, you're saying you did good, bud. You got us through it.
There was,
Consider that an ultimate compliment.
something that Stan had brought up to attention, a letter from Lemp or something, from Melissa Sabato.
Yeah.
There was 3 things on Stan's list that he needed an answer for. One of them was, are we pursuing a replacement for the culvert by Oliver Ames?
Oh, yeah.
And
the answer is no.
The answer is no. We have, we're pretty well maxed out. The next one will be the one up by Emily's house that's in a bad need of repair.
Right.
And, you know, we can try to get a grant for it at some point, but at this point it's undamaged and it's not rusted out. It's still functioning, so.
Yeah, I'll close the loop with him, but I mean, he knows, I think he already knows the answers, no on that one.
Yeah.
And on Leia's situation, we think we've mitigated Leia's situation.
I agree, yeah.
So I think he's okay with that stuff.
Okay.
That's what I felt. Anything else, other discussion not requiring action? Okay.
Dot did find that Brookline does have a policy in place for a recycle bin.
Okay.
And, it says that there is, for first offense of leaving litter outside, it's $100 and it's $500 for each thereafter.
Is that, are you looking
So we
under
can-
enforcement?
It says recycling policy, town of Brookline, Vermont.
Yeah, I see the 100 and 500, but it's for people who are not of the town of Brookline using the recycling facility.
So we should amend it to not only say that, but anybody leaving
Yeah.
anything outside the recycle bin is subject to ticket fine of $100 for first offense, $500 thereafter.
Is it, and is it actionable in its current form? You had mentioned you thought it would be points.
I don't think so. Positive.
There's a bunch of statutes on this policy. It's 2 pages.
Okay, it's on the website?
I can forward it. Sent it out.
On the website. That's our.
Yeah.
Might it be?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll get something.
Right?
Yeah. Let's work.
I sent it to everybody. So you'll get it.
Okay, thank you, Dot. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to have Dot.
In our back pocket, yeah.
It'll be, give us something to talk about tomorrow, Doc. I go with that.
Okay, I'm gonna do the meeting. Thank you, Dot. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Dot.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this Fact TV presentation. If you would like a digital or DVD copy of the meeting, please contact us by phone or email. Our phone number is 802-463-1613 or email us at fact810@gmail.com. Falls Area Community Television, keeping government honest.